3 years, you've been accepting $944 from her.
Landlords demand money.
Where do you expect her to get $16,000 from? She's a Section 8 housing person.
But the judge isn't moved by this mother-daughter team.
I assume you would say, Mom, that's the wrong rent.
English is not her first language.
Money is her secondary language.
This is Judge Judy. April Walsh and her mother, Mon Lynn, are suing Mon's former tenant, Maria Nunez, for unpaid rent.
Judge, this is case number 71 on the calendar in the matter of Walsh, Lynn versus Nunez. Parties have been sworn in.
Miss Walsh, are you going to speak for your mother?
Yes, I would. I'd like to try doing that.
Okay, because it is your claim that your mother, who owns some rental property, is owed money by the defendant. And you state in the complaint that you manage the property for her.
Yes, I assist. I'm more like an in-house counsel as needed. So when she needs assistance preparing evictions and so forth, I help her with that. But I don't necessarily, as far as the day-to-day, I don't do that.
So the answer is you do not manage the property for her, as you indicated in your complaint. You do not.
No.
Miss Lynn, how many properties? Are they all single-family homes, or are they multiple dwellings?
Some is multiple. Some is individual and office building.
What kind of property did you rent to Miss Nunez?
It's a fourplex. It's in San Jose. It's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath.
So 4 different apartments, Your Honor, in the same building.
She only rents one of them, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment.
1.5 bath, yeah.
You started to rent to her 3 years ago.
Yes.
In November 2018.
How long had you... Don't do that, Miss Walsh. Don't do that again. Do you understand?
Yes.
Back to Miss Lynn, please. 2-bedroom apartment. Do you own all 4 units in that building?
Yes.
Her apartment was leased to her through Section 8 housing. Are the other apartments in that building leased through Section 8 housing?
No.
They are not?
No, they are not.
They're rented individually?
Yes.
Are they all 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartments?
The front one is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. The 3 of the in the back
and
is...
Just a second. The 3-bedroom apartment in the front, you have a tenant in that apartment?
Yes.
How much does that tenant pay in rent?
$3,500.
Now, the other 2 apartments, are they 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, or 3-bedroom?
They're 2-bedroom, yes.
And what is the rent on each of those apartments?
$2,700.
Now, when you rented to Miss Nunez through Section 8, what was the amount of rent Section 8 was paying?
Section 8, they pay me $944.
Section 8 was paying you $944.
Yes.
And how much was Miss Nunez paying you?
Supposed to pay me $1,700.
No. Don't tell me what she was supposed to pay you.
Okay.
You collected rent from her in addition to the money that you got from Section 8. How much money did you collect from her every month, 2018, 19, and 20? How much money did you collect from her?
$944.
Now, you own 40 properties. That's what you told me. All over. Is this the first time you ever rented to anyone through Section 8 housing?
No, I have several...
No, just the answer.
Okay.
The answer is no.
Yes.
So you know that Section 8 pays so much and the tenant pays so much. The first month that you collected rent from her, you collected $944, according to you. Who came up with the figure of $944?
When I go there, usually the tenants will show me the paper from the housing. We have a walk through with the housing.
Then let me see. Now let me see what paper you got from housing in 2018.
Yes.
So initially, and this is dated in 2018, this says estimated family rent to owner $1,756. Well, why didn't you collect that from her starting in 2018?
Your Honor, I was busy collect the other rent, and I didn't bring the paper with me. And I don't know how much it is. When I go there collect the rent, she gave me the $944, and I believe in her. She was paid $944.
Okay, so that's what this case is all about now, because now you say she owes you $16,000 after for 3 years you've been accepting $944 from her and $944 from Section 8. That's really your responsibility, not hers. Where do you expect her to get $16,000 from? She's a Section 8, which means she can't afford to pay her rent. You accepted $944. If you wanted her to pay $1,756, she would have moved out. Who lives with you? Miss Nunez, who lives with you?
At that time, when I first met my daughter and my 2 grandkids, grandfather is in and out of the house because he lives in Manteca.
I got it. I understand you have a sore throat. All right, now we're going to Miss Walsh. $144 from the defendant and never made a demand for her to move or to be evicted. That was your job. I mean, you're the one that you say she calls on you. You're an in-house counsel as needed. So I assume as in-house counsel, you would take a look at this and say in 2018, because she's been your mother for a long time, Mom, that's the wrong rent. That's the wrong rent.
I don't do that part of it, Your Honor. I'm as needed. So my mother does everything herself as far as signing the contract.
She's not going. Where do you expect her to get $16,000 from? She's a Section 8 housing person.
Yeah, I understand that is the amount of the claim, but I understand, Your Honor, because of filing in small claims, there's a jurisdictional limit, and we believe, so I think the most you can get is $5,000. So what I think is, since there's definitely negligence on the part of my mother as well, but she's elderly, you know, English is not her first language, so she doesn't have a portion of negligence.
Miss Walsh, your mother owns, don't try to talk over me, your mother owns 40 income-producing properties. English may not be her first language. Money is her secondary language. She's a very smart lady.
Yes.
She collected $944 from the state and $944 from the defendant. If your mother had said in 2018, the defendant would have moved because she's a Section 8 person. She accepted $944 from her tenant for 3 years.
If I may, Your Honor?
3 years.
I have a contract actually between the two of them, between plaintiff, my mother, and the defendant, which states the amount of rent total. If I may provide that.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. A contract.
I'm sorry. There are 2 operative contracts. My mother executed a contract with the defendant, and then housing came in. Like I said, I'm not exactly familiar, but housing also comes in, does an inspection, and indicates what the tenant amount is to pay.
All I'm telling you is your mother accepted for 3 years in satisfaction of rent from the defendant $944 and did not make a claim for 3 years for any more. What I'm telling you is I believe by accepting the $944 and lulling her into believing that that was the extent of her obligation, her daughter, who I understand is an attorney, is that right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right, Your Honor.
Who knows how to file an action to quit because there was a mistake. It was a mistake by both parties. So I'm asking you this question. Where do you expect a Section 8 housing person to come up with $5,000 or $16,000?
I understand, Your Honor.
The answer is nowhere. When are you moving? Because now you know. As of June, when she first came to you, then you knew for the first time that your obligation was different.
Right.
Now, in July, August, September, October, 4 months.
Right.
How much have you paid in rent?
I've paid, so my rent portion went down to $624, and I've been paying on.
Just a second. It went down to $624. What is she talking about, $624, Miss Lynn? What is she talking about?
Okay, the housing dropped the rent for her. Before I noticed, she told me her rent is dropped. So under August, she received the housing. She said the housing email to her that her rent dropped. So I
just want to know how much rent have you received from her in total since June?
I got let go from my job.
June.
Just a second.
I don't think I have that.
Since June, how much rent? June, July, August, September, and October rent from her in those 5 months.
So,
Ms. Walsh, you want to answer that question?
Yes, please. So, I'm sorry, Your Honor, you said which month?
Month of June. How much from the state, how much from the defendant in June?
Okay, in June was $944 from the defendant and $944 from the housing authority.
And you accepted it. In June, you accepted $944 and $944 from housing, and in June was the first time you told her she owed more money. That's according to your complaint. Let's go to July. How much did you accept in July?
So she accepted.
Come on, Ms. Walsh.
Okay.
July.
$944 from housing, $944 from the tenant. In addition, Your Honor, we also received $250, and that was acknowledgement of defendant that she did underpay Ms. Lynn. So I do have that receipt.
August.
August, she paid 1,000. The second payment.
$1,756.
Yeah, seven.
She paid.
No, she paid.
I can't listen to both of you. Will somebody please tell me?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
In June, when she was paying $944, Ms. Walsh, coming back to you, you're the lawyer, did you bring on a proceeding to evict her?
No.
Because she agreed to make a payment.
In July,
And later today,
This is trash. There was around the beds, Your Honor.
there's something ridiculous about that. You should be embarrassed to show that to me.
April Walsh and her mother, Mon Lynn, claim Mon's former tenant, Maria Nunez, owes for back rent.
Now, I told you, money is your mother's second language. Now,
$1,756 for August. In addition,
from whom?
From the tenant. In addition, the defendant also paid $300 on top of that.
Plus $300, and how much did she receive from Section 8?
$944.
September.
In September, the rent changed per the Housing Authority. I do have the notice here, and her portion.
Just tell me how much she received. Just tell me how much your mother received is my question.
$624.
Period?
No.
Then,
and from housing is $944.
October.
She received, the total is $2,700, if you would like me to just.
But she is 22,000.
Her portion,
October.
the same amount, $2,700.
The housing pay me 2,076. The tenants pay me 624.
Did you move in June when she was paying $944? Housing was paying $944. Did you bring Ms. Walsh coming back to you? You're the lawyer. Did you? No.
No.
Because she agreed to make a payment.
In July, in July, she paid you $944 from housing plus an additional $250. Did you move to evict her?
No.
No, because she was making.
Because she said she's gonna make a payment for me.
No, she wasn't. Okay. She's not paying you any more money. Are you moving?
Fairly soon, yes, Your Honor.
When? Not very soon. When?
Well,
I mean, right now, they got $2,700 from you in October.
sometime after Christmas, Your Honor. It's really hard right now to find a place. After Christmas.
That's fine.
Yes.
Right now, you're not doing badly. She's not paying you for the last 3 years. Goodbye.
Your Honor,
We're
may
done. Thank
I
you.
just interject, please?
No. Bye.
But she knew that.
She stopped payment
was.
already.
I have documents that show she knew
Goodbye.
this beforehand.
She already want to pay me the
Goodbye.
When she moved in there
Goodbye.
and she
Very
got
good.
a new.
We're done. You had a very good tenant for 3 years. Made a lot of money. Goodbye.
Parties are excused.
We believe that she just took advantage of my mother.
I did not take advantage.
Definitely participate more in her business practice.
It does kind of, hurt me a little bit that she would think that I deliberately would do this to her.
All parties in the matter of Jennings versus Rambos approach the podium.
Former landlord, Melina Rumbos, for wrongfully withholding a portion of his security deposit.
Mr. Jennings, you are suing for the return of your security deposit on an apartment that you rented from Ms. Rumbos.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Rumbos withheld part of your security, sending you only a small portion of it for 2 reasons. One, she said she had to pay a cleaning fee, and the next thing was she said she really gave you a break by not charging you for the whole month of June when you were actually out in June on the 15th, and you had a new tenant that moved in on the 22nd.
Correct.
Am I correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. So let's go back to some basics, Ms. Rambos. The defendant signed a 1-year lease with you, and he paid $1,850 for a fully furnished 1-bedroom apartment. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
He gave you $1,850 as a security deposit. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Correct.
He was a faithful tenant in paying his rent, and he left the apartment in very decent condition.
Yes, Your Honor.
Not causing any damage to the apartment.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you know how lucky you are when you had a tenant who paid faithfully? He left the dust under the bed, and you say that he's responsible for that? You're ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Giles Jennings is suing his former landlord, Melina Rumbos, for wrongfully withholding a portion of his security deposit.
Now, when you re-rented the apartment to the new tenant that moved in, did you rent the apartment furnished or unfurnished?
Unfurnished.
Which means that you had to hire a moving company. Did you hire a moving company?
Correct, Your Honor.
He moved out on the 15th, am I correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
On what date did you hire the moving company?
It was on the 17th, Your Honor.
2 days later.
Yes, Your Honor.
And they removed your living room, a bedroom, and a dining area, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And on what date did you hire the cleaning company?
The cleaning lady came the same day. The movers came early in the morning.
And your cleaning lady, your person,
Yes,
came after the movers.
correct.
Now, you kept some of his security deposit, you allege, for cleaning. I would like you to show me photographs of what you allege that he left in an unreasonable condition security deposit. Show me a photograph.
Yes, Your Honor. This is trash that was under the beds.
That was under the bed.
Yes.
That you moved.
Yeah, but he lived
You have
there
to give
for-
him his whole...
he lived
But
there
what did
for-
you expect him to move the bed?
This is trash that was around the beds, Your Honor.
There's something ridiculous about that. You should be embarrassed to show that to me.
Well,
you should be embarrassed to show that to me.
Your Honor.
Embarrassed. You had moving people that came in. He cleaned the apartment. Your moving people moved 3 rooms of furniture, and you're showing me dust. You're not showing me a filthy sink. You're not showing me a filthy toilet. Let me see the rest.
This is from the bathtub.
Come on.
This
So
is
far,
only,
that's nonsense.
This is only some pictures. I didn't take pictures of the walls, but he did leave the
Well,
apartment
don't-
and a good.
What are you telling me? What you're not showing me? I just want to see what you're showing me.
Okay, this is
What
just
is-
the bath.
what is
the
that
bath-
that you're showing me?
This is the bathtub.
And what are you showing me on the bathtub?
There's a dirt and some marks here.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us.
For the days, sir, for the days from the 15th,
She owes me $586.59.
$586 for the days and the cleaning fee,
Well, the total with the cleaning fee is $686.59, ma'am.
because she charged you half of the cleaning fee.
Yes. Or she
Is that
charged me
correct?
a $100 cleaning fee. I don't know what the total cleaning fee was.
She said it was $200. She only charged you half. She shouldn't have charged anything. Don't you realize, Mr. Rumbas, how lucky you are? In June of 2020, your apartment was really only vacant, and you weren't paid for maybe 4 days. He moved out on the 15th. You didn't get your stuff out of there till the 17th. The earliest the new people could have moved in is the 18th. They actually, according to you, moved in on the 22nd. Do you know how lucky you are? Now, when tenants aren't paying their rent, they're just staying there. Landlords can't collect rent. When you had a tenant who paid faithfully throughout his entire lease, March, April, May, part of June, he left the apartment clean. Your moving company found dust under the bed, and you say that he's responsible for that? You're ridiculous. $686. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Noted. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
To connect the defendant to your dead dog.
I can't find that. Can I just state something?
You can't state anything. I want to see evidence.
Judge Judy.
There has to be a cleaning fee.
I got what I was owed, and that's all I was asked for.
You could have, cleaned a little bit more.
She did send me the little pile of dust that I was like, wow, okay.
Mr. Jennings was a great tenant, and I'm surprised that we had to come here.
I'm surprised that we had to go this far and didn't really want to, but money's money, so...
So you rented a room in the house.
The reasons to evict were growing.
He brought in his daughter, and then he brought in his second daughter, and then he brought in his third daughter.
You had 60 days to leave. Why didn't you?
Then
The defendant moved into the house.
the landlord forced the issue.
You look like a very mild-mannered guy. I have a feeling that I'm looking at somebody who is in camouflage.
This is Judge Judy. Ronald Mendez is suing his former landlord, John Griga, for an illegal eviction, harassment, and stolen property.
Judge, this is case number 75 on the calendar. The man sworn in. You ladies may be seated, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Mr. Mendez, how long did you live in the house that is currently occupied by Mr. Griga?
About 9 years.
Who did you lease the house from? What was that person's name?
Gerald.
And you had a lease with him?
So we were month to month, and it was a gentleman's.
Just 1 second. In the beginning, when you rented from him, was it a year lease that turned into month to month, or was it always month to month?
It was always month to month.
What was your rent?
Originally, it was $500.
When did it change?
When my daughter started turning 18 and they didn't want to live with their mother no more, I had talked to Jerry. We call him Jerry. And Jerry said, just bring him in. We got room. I said, I'll pay you $800.
Was anybody else living in the house other than you and your daughter? Or did you
Yeah.
have the whole house or just a room in the house?
When I arrived, he had riffraff living there, doing drugs and alcohol and fighting. When I came in there, I helped Jerry get rid of them. And
I asked you a question. My question is a simple one.
yes, there was other people there.
So you rented a room in the house?
Yes.
And your daughter lived with you, shared the room with you in the house?
Yeah, in the beginning, I got a bunk bed.
Now, the crux of your lawsuit is an illegal eviction. And it is your claim that the defendant became the owner of the house and gave you an eviction notice or a notice that he wanted you to move. That didn't happen. According to you, there were locks put on the door and locks changed. Ultimately, the defendant, according to him, moved into the house. At that point, according to you, you had had enough of what you call harassment, and you decided to leave in May of this year. That's your lawsuit.
Correct.
The defendant says you owe him rent, not rent from years ago, because I assume, Mr. Griga, that the plaintiff, over the 9 years that he lived there, was current in his rent, or else he would have been evicted.
Excuse me, Judge, but he did not live there for 9 years. He only lived there for 5 years.
How many?
He moved in May of 2015, and I have a copy of his application, which I provided to him.
Did you manage the property? Is that what you did?
Yes, from the day that he moved in.
Okay. Let's go back, Mr. Mendez. Did you move in 2015?
No, I was there
Or
longer than
2011?
2011.
Well, when did you start working for the original owner, Mr. Griga?
Probably around 2014.
Okay. Well, Mr. Griga, the plaintiff is going to be able to establish by a variety of methods that he lived in his room. It have been that you, as the manager of the property, when you got there, gave him an application to rent a room. He says he lived there since 2011. And how would you know that he didn't live there in 2011 when you just started this job in 2014?
It might have been 2012 or 2013, but I know that there were previous renters there.
Mr. Griga, let's start off on the right foot, you and I, because this is my first case of the day. It also happens to be my birthday, and I don't want to put myself in a foul mood at the beginning of my day. When I asked you, is that correct? And you said, no, he didn't move in 2015 because here's his application. That was deceptive. Do you understand? That was deceptive because you had a piece of paper and someone who may not be as sharp as I am may have said, oh, there's a piece of paper, 2015. He must be telling me a fib. Then you come back and say, well, maybe it was 2012. Maybe it was also 2011.
Your Honor, it might have been 2011, but at that time, he might have moved in and might have moved out. But I know that I found him in 2015 because I placed an ad and he answered it. And we showed him the room and he filled out a property, signed it and dated it. And we started a month-to-month rental agreement.
Did you move in and out of this room, Mr. Mendez, over the course of 2011 to 2020?
I have been there consistently.
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
You've
I
been there
moved in
consistently?
Yes. No in and
Had
out.
you ever lived between 2011 and 2020? Did you live anywhere else?
No.
Okay. Now I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Grieger. I want you to tell me in what month and year you decided that you wanted the plaintiff out of the house and you wanted his room, you wanted to end the tenancy. You tell me.
The beginning of 2019.
And tell me why in the beginning of 2019 you decided you wanted him out of the house.
Because originally, if you look at the rental agreement, it shows that the rental agreement is only for Ron, which he also signed and dated, and Gerald signed and dated.
Keep going.
He brought in his daughter, and then he brought in his second daughter, and then maybe the middle of 2019, he brought in his third daughter, and he shared 2 rooms at the house.
They had 2 rooms.
Yes.
Okay, when did he take the second room?
I think the second room started around 2018.
How much was the rent on the second room?
Well, both rooms were $800 a month. And I put together a rental agreement.
Okay.
His wife was going to also join him. But we just continued on to a month-to-month.
Now, you gave him this rental agreement. Was Jerry still in the house?
Yes, he was. He was still the owner, but at that time I was essentially the property manager.
Okay. When did you become the owner of the house?
April of 2019.
And at what point did you give the plaintiff the first 30-day notice to quit?
Actually, it's a 60-day notice to quit.
You gave him a 60-day notice. What month?
November 11th of 2019.
Now, Mr. Mendez, you acknowledge that you got a 60-day notice pursuant to your agreement on November 11th, 2019. You acknowledge that you received that.
There was a paper on my door.
That's fine. That's the way he has to give you
Correct.
notice. You acknowledge you received it.
That I did, yes.
Well, then you had 60 days to leave. Why
According
didn't
to that,
you?
according to that, yes.
No. According to the law, you had
Well,
60 days to leave.
So he apparently is a mortgage broker, which means he should know the law. So, number one, when there's any kind of transaction that's being sold, he has to tell the neighbors, he's got to tell everybody. Jerry didn't even know.
Listen to me, Mr. Mendez. You cannot tell me what Jerry knew or what he didn't know. As far as I'm concerned, if he is the legal owner of the house now, Jerry knew. The owner, you got a notice to leave pursuant to your lease agreement, which is now a month to month, on November 11th. My question is simple. Why didn't you start to make arrangements to move?
Again, Jerry didn't even know that he had become the owner.
You just.
I got an affidavit from him.
You can't tell me that.
But still, nobody knew
Okay,
that he
so-
has become the owner. Nobody knew.
Okay. Well, now you know, right?
Right.
Mr. Mendez, I'm sort of sympathetic with you. I was very sympathetic when I read your papers. Initially, I'm getting a little less sympathetic because he didn't move to evict you during COVID. He didn't. He told you well before anybody knew that there was going to be a pandemic back in November of 2019 that he wanted you out of the house.
Okay, so...
He wanted you to leave. Now, I want to know why you didn't move.
Because Jerry told me no, it's still his house. And he had never told me he bought the house.
Okay. Now, on what date did the defendant show you proof, if ever, that it was, in fact, his house?
He never did.
Just a second. Tell me the circumstances around which you became the owner of this house.
The owner was having financial difficulties, and he asked me, he was in foreclosure. Anyway, he asked me if I would buy the
house before it went into foreclosure.
Yes.
Okay. In what month and year?
April 30th of 2019.
And how much did you pay for it?
I paid off the balance from his existing loan and took over his existing loan, so about $400,000. I don't know the exact number.
And who was the mortgage holder? What financial institution?
It was a bank. I forgot the name right now.
And what was the exact amount of the mortgage that they held on this property?
I would say about $350,000 was the loan, and there's probably about another $40,000 in back payments.
So he was in arrears? Is that what you're telling me? He was in arrears on that mortgage?
Yes.
I want to know how much you paid for the house.
I paid $29,030 for the back amount and took over
$29,030. And you took over the existing mortgage.
That was about
which was how much?
$355,000.
When you made this transfer with the bank, did Jerry sign the papers? Or was your arrangement, Mr. Grieger, with the bank did you take over title to the house from the bank?
I got a new loan.
That's not my question. My question is, did you buy the house from the bank?
No, I bought it from Jerry.
Jerry, because he didn't get any money.
No, you normally, you sign all the documents, you get documents notarized, and then you do the recording of the deed.
What's the address of the house?
29 WACO
Where is that located?
in Simi Valley.
How much money did you pay to Jerry?
I didn't pay anything to Jerry. Jerry says if I can make the payments current and if he can live in the house, he would transfer the house to me.
Well, Mr. Grieger, you got yourself a very, very good deal.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That would be better than giving it to you. He doesn't have to go to other friends to do that. He's got friends like you. He doesn't need any other enemies. You see, Mr. Mendez, at the beginning of this process, I wasn't so happy with you. I'm getting a little happier.
Ronald Mendez says his former landlord, John Grieger, illegally evicted him and his family. John is countersuing for unpaid rent and harassment.
Well, Mr. Grieger, you got yourself a very, very good deal.
The house needed a lot of work.
Trusty, just a second. According to my trusty little iPad and Zillow, you got $1,000 for the house. The estimate or zestimate for this house, the high range is $700,000 or more than twice what you paid for it a year ago. So you got yourself a pretty good deal without paying Jerry a penny.
When I had the...
Didn't you suggest him that maybe he should put the house on the open market and see before it got foreclosed? Maybe he could wind up with a couple of bucks. He had been paying the mortgage for at least 9 years. How do you know, Jerry?
I've helped them on getting loan modification for his house about 5 years prior.
The average selling price for the houses nearby, or the comps, are $664,000, more than double of what you bought the house for.
Your Honor, when
That's
the bank
a pretty
did
good
the
deal.
appraisal, they appraised it for $530,000, and that's with having the pool redone and the roof redone. A lot of work to be done.
All I'm telling you is, even if they appraise it at $530,000, you still got a pretty good deal. That's still almost twice what you paid for it.
Well, in a couple of weeks later, he was going to lose the house, and he offered it to me. And he went to everybody else, and he had no other...
You know, somebody who's in that business, sir, like you, because you said, that's my business. Look like a very mild-mannered guy. I have a feeling that I'm looking at somebody who is in camouflage.
Your Honor, I don't do mortgages.
Did you suggest to him that the houses in the neighborhood were selling for far more than what his existing mortgage is, and perhaps he could, even if he wound up with $50,000 in his pocket, that would be better than giving it to you for just bringing the mortgage up to date? He doesn't have to go to other friends to do that. He's got friends like you. He doesn't need any other enemies. Okay. I want you to tell me, Mr. Mendez, you see, at the beginning of this process, I wasn't so happy with you. I'm getting a little happier, just a little.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Considering the fact that you got a house for practically nothing was some sort of shady. I'm just new to your circumstance, and a quick observation on my trusty little iPad suggests to me you're the luckiest guy around.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Ronald Mendez is accusing his former landlord, John Grieger, of illegally evicting him and his family.
You finally moved out in May. Where did you go?
I moved pretty much a mile away. A mile away. I had to put some...
You moved a mile away into a house with your wife and 3 children?
Correct.
And did you rent it or buy it?
No, I don't have that kind of money. I had to rent it.
I'm just asking you.
Okay.
Rent. And what's the rent that you pay?
Almost $3,000.
For how many rooms?
Has 3 rooms.
The house has 3 rooms, or the house has more rooms and you have 3 rooms?
No, just 3 rooms.
What does that mean?
It just has 3 rooms. In a living room and a kitchen, of course, yeah.
Is what you're telling me, Mr. Mendez, try not to be obtuse with me, is what you're telling me you rented a 3-bedroom, single-family house?
Yes.
Good, for $3,000
Correct.
a month.
Correct.
That sounds reasonable. That's where you should live.
Right.
With your wife and 3 children. What
Correct.
kind of work do you do? What kind of work do you do?
Retail.
What does that mean, retail?
Right now I work for Hobby Lobby, which is a hobby store.
Okay. And your wife, does she work?
She does rehab for women addicted to drugs and alcohol.
And what about your daughters? Do they work?
Michaela is a special education teacher. Rylin is in school right now for cosmetology. And my youngest one is studying to be a vet.
Okay. So you have 3 people who were there who contribute to running the household.
Yes. And they pay the rent.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Well, and everybody contributes to paying the rent, as it should be.
Correct.
And you lease.
May 1st.
Did you give them a deposit?
Yeah, I had to put down around almost $3,000.
In April of 2020, did you pay rent in the rooms where you were living?
No, Jerry said he wouldn't.
No.
Okay.
No. Don't tell me what Jerry said.
No.
Just to answer my question. Did you pay rent in April of 2020?
I could not.
You could not?
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't take it?
Yes.
Don't tell me what Jerry said.
No.
Jerry's not here. I don't care what you say he said.
What the thing is that Jerry was his voice because he would not talk to me. So Jerry said, John says not to take your money.
Just a second. Do you understand what I said to you?
Don't put Jerry in the middle, but he was the middle.
Tell me what Jerry said.
Correct.
That's not my problem. Then you should have had him here.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Did you pay rent in April is my question.
No.
The answer is no.
No.
Did you pay rent in March?
No.
Did you pay rent in February?
No.
Did you pay rent in January?
No.
Did you pay rent in December?
Yes.
It was $800 a month. You had the $2,400 a month that you needed for the security deposit and to move in to the other house.
Correct.
Good. And now you want another $5,000.
Okay, so there's an actual breakdown.
No.
Yes, I do. It was actually 9,000 something. Yes. Because I hate to say, but the agreements that I made was with Jerry. Everything was Jerry. He was never in the picture. He was never in the picture. Jerry said, take the money and apply it to the...
Your case is dismissed. Now we're going to get to your counterclaim, which is likewise dismissed, sir. I think that whatever dealings you did with Jerry, and considering the fact that you got a house for practically nothing, was some sort of shady. I don't know what condition this Jerry is. I don't know what condition. I don't know if he has family. I don't know any of those things. But I'm just new to your circumstance. And a quick observation on my trusty little iPad suggests to me you're the luckiest guy around. You bought a house for $320,000. The estimate is $699,000, or more than twice what you paid for it a year ago. And the guy, Jerry, is evidently still living there. Is he still here? I have a counterclaim that I've dismissed, and I hope you're happy in your 3-bedroom house with your wife and 3 children, which is where you should be, not 2 rooms in a house. We're done. Thank you. Goodbye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, does she want her money?
Everything started going downhill once she found out I had a girlfriend.
Or revenge?
I think you're pulling my leg. I think that this is a judicial leg pulling.
Next Judge Judy.
This man is shrewd, very shrewd, and...
I really wasn't the official property manager.
He was a peeping Tom with my kids.
That's totally not true either.
He's a retail broker. You should know he can't just walk into people's houses.
I've never seen any of the daughters.
Well, first of all, he stole the house from them. And I think that was a quick claim deed.
No, that wasn't a quick claim deed.
Because Jerry told me that he was going to get him a better rate in the mortgage.
I talked to Jerry about that.
It's easy to slip a quick claim deed, and Jerry's too old, so he just signs everything.
We agreed that that's what he wanted to do.
Oh, I think he does it all the time.
I'm glad that the plaintiffs are gone.
On my property side.
A couple's grief is overwhelming.
We have to have evidence in order to connect the defendant to your dead dog.
What's lacking is their proof.
I would like to see the diagnosis from the original vet.
I can't find that. I just have the bills.
Well, that's the most important piece of evidence.
Can I just state something?
You can't state anything. I want to see evidence.
This is Judge Judy. Derek and Nicole Trotter are suing their neighbor, Kevin Edquist, for vet bills, the cost of a dog, and punitive damages after he inadvertently poisoned their pet.
Judge, this is case number 73 on the calendar in the matter of Trotter versus Edquist. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Thank you, Bird. Mr. and Mrs. Trotter, how long have you and the defendant been neighbors?
Close to 18 years.
How long has the wall been up between your two homes?
Ever since we've been there.
Your case is a sad one. According to you, you bought a puppy back in December of 2019.
Correct.
It was one of those adorable mixes of puppies. Small dog.
It was a schnoodle, yeah.
That's a combination of a poodle and a schnauzer.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Very adorable, yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I assume that your backyard is fully fenced?
Yeah, it's a block fence, and we have a wandering fig vine that grows on it and up.
Vine around the backyard?
Yes.
Okay. So I assume that you would let the puppy out by herself?
Right. It was a boy, but yes.
A boy?
Right. Male.
It is your claim that the defendant negligently put out rat poison, and as a result of that, your dog was poisoned and died.
Yeah.
The defendant says, while he does acknowledge that months before he did put out some rat poison, you're going to explain to me why you did that and in what method you did that. It is your claim that there is absolutely no evidence that the rat poison caused the dog to expire, and especially the rat poison that you used. So, Mr. Trotter, you got the dog in December of 2019. Where did you get him from?
We found an ad on Craigslist.
And how much did you pay for him? Because that's part of your lawsuit.
Right. He was $350.
Tell me what happened in August.
So on Sunday morning, August 2nd, we noticed that Loki was displaying just weird symptoms. He wasn't himself. He was just kind of hunched over, just looked off. We didn't give it too much thought. We fed him, and then we went away for the day and came back later in the afternoon. But
was he left inside or outside?
They have access to both. We have a doggy door.
You have more than one dog?
Yeah, we have two.
Okay. So you noticed that Loki was acting in a lethargic way.
Right.
When you came home?
Right. That was later on. Greet us, which she's always is. So we went to the back, found him kind of cowering by the pool, and he wouldn't come, and he was just really bad. So we took him to the emergency vet on the evening of August 2nd.
Do you have a report from the vet?
Yes.
We have that report, yeah. We did one blood test, which came back negative for
no, don't tell me what it came. No, just
okay.
Don't tell me what the blood test came back for. I just want to see your evidence.
Okay.
Here's a report.
Thank you. Well, that tells me that the dog died. I would like to see the report from the blood tests that they did and the diagnosis from the vet.
I don't have that one.
Well, that's the most important piece of evidence.
It should have been in the police report, is where it should have been, in our police report.
Ms. Trotter,
yes.
I'm sympathetic with you. I'm a dog lover and sympathetic with you. But this is a court. Court rules on evidence.
That's what we have with the vet that we took him to the following day. He made that report, and that was his findings.
We took him to several vets.
Well, he made the report based on... Just a second. I'll look at the second piece of information that you have. You do understand that the first piece of evidence that you have is of totally no value.
Right.
As long as you understand that, Mr. Trotter. Okay, now I'll read this.
I don't know why they didn't give us that.
Okay, you brought your dog in, and your dog was sick. You went to the vet. You didn't take the dog back to the first vet, which must have been an emergency vet.
Okay.
Right.
You took the dog to this vet, who examined the dog and says the dog seems to have neurological defects were observed on examination, okay? Intention tremors were noted along with delayed conscious of both limbs. Final component to Loki's breathing was also noted. I don't know what that means. I'm not a vet. He was 2% dehydrated and semi-non-ambulatory, and they prescribed some things. And they have a differential diagnosis of toxicity, a toxin.
Bromethylene, yeah.
So what you have is you have a differential diagnosis of a toxin.
Right. And a dead dog.
That it is possible that your dog died from ingesting some sort of toxin. You have to connect that to the defendant in order for you to be successful in a court.
I understand.
Not in a court of sympathy, but in a court of law.
Right.
So I'm willing to take a look at what evidence that you have.
So in the animal care report, he says that his...
No, don't tell me what it says. Don't tell me what it says.
Well,
I'll read it.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Okay, so you reported that your dog was killed by the neighbor who left out rat poison. So far, we have no evidence of that. Reporter had spoken to the neighbor about the concern in the weeks before the incident, and his dog was confirmed that poison was the cause of death by the dog. Well, that I didn't see. It said a toxin. As a little pet owner, a toxin could be a lot of things.
Right.
Could be something that they eat out on the lawn.
If you keep reading, it'll connect it.
Well, I will, but so far what I've read is just your synopsis without any evidence, because neither of the two reports that you showed me confirm that the dog was killed by a poison.
Right.
Nothing could confirm that.
Okay, so
Except a neurological spinal tap is what the vets told us. In order to confirm this kind of poisoning...
I just told your husband, you're not a veterinarian, I assume.
It's just what they told us.
Which makes you not an expert. Just a second. I mean, are you just being purposefully obstinate? I told your husband, you cannot tell me what a vet told you, because that's hearsay and inadmissible. The fact that it's still inadmissible. If it's in a veterinarian report as a business record, I can read it. But you're telling that to me is hearsay. You say it once, twice, or three times. It doesn't make it less hearsay. Okay. So this says, per the reporter, the neighbor had to have reached over the property line to zip tie a bag lock of poison to a tree in reporter's yard. So that's conjecture, because nobody saw that.
We have evidence.
The rats, when you show me evidence, I'll read it.
Can I show you evidence?
Not yet.
Okay.
Right now I'm reading what you put up here for me to see, which is just a story that you think may have happened. The rats chewed through the bags, the poison fell to the ground, and the dog ingested it. That's conjecture. You may have evidence to show me that that is what a fact is, but so far that's all conjecture. That's not fact. That's what you think may have happened. That's not proof in a court. The zip tie is still on the tree, and the remnants of the poison are still on the ground in the reporter's yard. Okay. You wanted to show me something else, Ms. Strata?
So, Your Honor, here are pictures where my husband found the zip ties. The day he died, he went out in the backyard to see what could have possibly caused his death. And this is...
Also, if you notice in that report that you just went over from the animal control, it did specifically say that Loki had green residue in his feces. It was bright green, the same color as the poison.
Actually, Mr. Trotter, what it said was very clear. It said that it was reported to animal control that the dog had had discoloration in its feces for 2 weeks prior to his death.
Yes.
No, and also on August 1st, we also took pictures of his feces.
Just what I'm telling you was that your dog was sick for 2 weeks.
We didn't know he was sick. He had no symptoms.
Listen to me. Do not interrupt me again. Whoever spoke to animal control confirmed to animal control that the dog had had green feces for 2 weeks prior to the dog getting sick.
Right.
I'm going to read it. I'll read it to you, Ms. Strata.
Right.
Put the other piece of evidence up again.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
So this is from animal... Okay. You're interrupting.
It didn't say
what you
that
are
he had
doing
it.
is interrupting me. What you are doing is interrupting me. Throughout my conversation, they stated, we don't believe that Kevin placed poison out intentionally. However, we are upset that the poison was placed on our property without on. They arrived at your house and spoke to the dog owner. The animal control officer said, I explained to the Trotters that there does not seem to be intent of crimes against animals and evidence that Loki passed away from the rodent poison as the blood work was relatively normal and there was no body to conduct an autopsy on. to conclusively determine that Loki passed away due to the ingestion of a specific poison set out by Kevin. That's what animal control says in their report, which is what, Mrs. Trotter, I'm trying to elicit from you.
Can I say something?
In order for you to establish that the defendant is responsible for your dog's death, you have to establish that the dog was poisoned.
I have evidence that I'm still wanting to show you.
I'm going to see all your evidence.
Okay.
I'm looking, you gave me this evidence.
So we have obviously the stool was bright green. We noticed that 2 weeks prior, and also...
It was bright green for 2 weeks.
No, it was not bright green for 2 weeks. It was once.
Off and on.
Maybe a couple times over the 2-week period, we noticed his stool color was bright green.
It's only on August 1st that we actually took pictures.
But he had no attributed to diet related, because I feed my dogs a raw diet, blueberries, yellow vegetables, and I went on a Facebook group that I go on to get their feedback, and since there were no symptoms, they told me they believed it was diet related.
Don't tell me what anybody else told you. You can't tell me what anybody else told you.
He had no symptoms at that time.
It's
fine. Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Here is another picture of all the zip ties that we cut off from his placement of putting these zip ties on our wall. The time my husband took these zip ties to him, he laughed in my husband's face.
Derek and Nicole Trotter claim neighbor Kevin Edquist is responsible for fatally poisoning their dog, Loki.
Keep going.
So here are pictures.
Miss Trotter.
Here's
I
some
see pictures. Next.
Okay.
Next.
You saw this one?
What's next? I saw it.
The residue here. Here we see
I saw it.
The zip ties that were placed in our property, and below the zip ties, you can see the poison residue on our vine here.
And he admits to putting it there.
In the report that you read, he admitted to putting it there. Here's another picture where...
I read the report.
You can see one of the zip ties.
I read the report.
You see that? And then here is another picture of all the zip ties that we cut off from his placement of putting these zip ties on our wall.
Any other evidence that you want me to see?
No. At the time my husband took these zip ties to him, he laughed in my husband's face.
Don't tell me what he did unless you were there. Were you there?
He was there.
No, but I was there. And yes, he did.
I know you were there, but you have to tell me.
Yeah.
If she tells me, it's because you told her.
I took all the zip ties in the
hearsay.
baggie and said, this can never happen again. And he just kind of laughed and said, well, there's no blood in the report. But it doesn't show up in the blood report, that type of poison.
Okay, Mr. Trotter. Puppy died on August 4th. And a couple of weeks later, you got a new puppy. Do you like the new puppy?
He's very cute, yes.
He doesn't,
very sweet.
Doesn't replace our old dog.
Okay. Well, believe me, I do understand that. I've had pets my whole life, and I've lost them, and sometimes I've lost them to old age, and sometimes not.
Your Honor, can I just state something?
No, you can't state anything. I want to see evidence. I've looked at what you tell me is all of your evidence, Mrs. Trotter.
We had asked this gentleman
I haven't spoken.
Not to...
If the defendant attached anything to your side of the property, that's trespass. You might sue him for trespass. What you have to prove, I know you're looking at, I guess I'm talking to your husband and to another 10 million people. Okay? My dogs have gotten sick from a lot of toxins. When the gardener puts in fertilizer, if I'm not careful enough, and one of them grabs and eats one of the chunks of fertilizer, they get very sick from a toxin. When there are rabbit droppings or deer droppings, and if a dog ingests that, it's a toxin. They can get sick and die. I'm not saying that what the defendant did by putting out rat poison, you did put out rat poison, is that correct?
Over the last 10, 12
Pay
years,
attention.
correct. Yes.
In my property.
But you did for a period of time.
Correct.
Within months of this, you put out rat poison.
On my property side, yes.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Two things. That the dog died as a result of a poisoning.
Well, that's what bromethylene does. It's a neurological poison.
I am acutely aware of seizures. I lost a little dog 3 months ago that had a seizure, and I didn't sue anybody.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Derek and Nicole Trotter say the negligence of neighbor Kevin Edquist led to the poisoning and death of...
You have to establish two things: that your dog died from a poison other than any other kind of just toxin, which is a toxic material, and connect the defendant to that. So far, the only thing that you showed me is a to whom it may concern letter that I assure you was written recently, not back in August. Would that be correct?
It was about a...
The second...
Right.
Attention.
Does the manner of the death of the
concern
dog count? Does that count as evidence, the manner of death? Because he died of a seizure.
Just a second. If you had a vet here who could tell me that that seizure that vet observed, or the aftermath of that seizure, was a direct result of a rat poison, that would be a nexus.
Well, that's what bromethylene does. It's a neurological poison.
It kills
Let me explain
neurologically.
something to you, sir. I am acutely aware of seizures. I lost a little dog 3 months ago that was a perfectly healthy little dog that had a seizure and had not been poisoned.
Our dog's feces was the same color as the poison.
Had not. Just a second. What I'm telling you is, I don't know how it happened. I don't know the cause of it because I, like you, said I don't want to do anything else through an autopsy to find out what happened, and I'm not going to do that. That's what I said to and I didn't, and I still don't know the reason for that seizure. I didn't sue anybody. You want to sue the defendant, and it is possible that some of the poison that he put out months ago dripped onto your property, and it is also possible that your puppy was licking that poison over a long period of time because there was some evidence of it for weeks. All of that is possible. We don't deal with possibilities in court. We deal with evidence. Two things: that the dog died as a result of a poisoning, and two, something related to the defendant that relates him to that poison. You haven't breached that first threshold that the dog died of a poison.
The pictures that we showed you were placed in our property.
No, there's no... Okay, right. There's no evidence of that. That's trespass.
Your Honor.
I feel sorry for you. Now I'm finished. I'm actually finished with you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to Judge and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, I feel sorry for you. Believe me, I understand your pain, and I understand the fact that when you let a dog outside, especially a puppy, and you leave that dog the ability to go in and out all day long without being watched, things happen. It is possible, I'm not going to say it more than this time, it is possible that the dog's death resulted from the rat poison that the defendant put out on the property. You have not proven to me that your dog was poisoned through evidence that was clearly available to you, and if there was evidence that the dog was poisoned, it would have been in the blood work. Okay. And if it wasn't evident in the blood work, then when the dog died, you could have had an autopsy to establish to your own satisfaction that the dog died as a result of poisoning.
We didn't know
All right,
until
case
we
is
found
dismissed.
the poison.
We're done. Thank you. We're done. No.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy...
The agreement was I would collect payment at the end of the classes.
What justification is there not to pay her any money?
She was late. She probably doesn't understand what she's trying to say.
Judge Judy.
We know it was him. We know he did it. We know he put the dog, and he should pay. He should do the decent thing, but he's not a decent human being.
I had put poison out over the 10, 12 years. But not during this period of time.
No, we've had dogs for 13 years, never had a problem before until recently, and we asked him not to place poison there.
It's possible. It could be the pull guy. I don't know. It could be something else. I have no evidence.
And he didn't care. He still put poison in our property, which we did not know about.
It was a money grab.
I went over to approach him, and he basically laughed in my face about it.
And I told him I'm very sorry for loss of your dog.
An ex-husband's breakdown.
His car needed to be repaired.
It was going to cost an arm and a leg.
And ex-wife's rescue.
I gave him the money, and he got it fixed.
Sounds like a very friendly divorce.
Well, we were friendly then.
Now, does she want her money?
Everything started going downhill once she found out I had a girlfriend.
Or revenge?
I think you're pulling my leg, Ms. Fernandez. I think that this is a judicial leg pulling.
This is Judge Judy. Clarice Fernandez is suing her ex-husband, Manuel Fernandez, for unpaid loans and his portion of their children's school supplies and Christmas gifts.
Yeah, this is case number 28 on the calendar in the matter of Fernandez.
Ms. Fernandez, you and Mr. Fernandez had been married for 20 years. You have one child together. Mr. Fernandez had another child. And after your separation, you kept custody of both children.
Right.
Am I correct?
Yes.
And you were divorced in February of 2019.
Correct.
Your claim has several parts to it. I'm advising you I'm only entertaining one of those claims. You have a claim for participation in Christmas presents, in school supplies, and in clothes for the children after the divorce. Now, you have a judgment of divorce that provides for support for the child that is his?
Yes.
Is he currently paying that order of support?
Yes.
Is the amount that he is paying an amount that was agreed to by the two of you by stipulation or agreement in the divorce?
We agreed when we divorced.
Good. Then the part of your claim that I will hear, Ms. Fernandez, is your claim of a loan. And that, you said, was a loan that took place in October after the divorce that you made to him. You want to tell me about that loan?
His car needed to be repaired, so he wanted to borrow money for that, and I let him borrow money for that.
Well, this was a car that he had when you divorced?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that correct, Mr. Fernandez?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Chevy truck. Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, so tell me how he came about to ask you for this loan.
Well, when we went to Vegas and the whole...
Just a second. You went to Vegas. What date?
It was in September 2019.
September 20th. You went to Vegas. Did the children go with you?
The children went.
So the four of you went to Vegas?
Yes.
Where did you stay?
In the Tahitian Resort and Village in Vegas.
And you used the Chevy because it was a larger car to travel in?
Yes.
Is that why you used the older car?
Yes.
Had you been on long trips with that car before?
Yes.
When immediately prior to this trip in September did you use that car? Over the summer?
Yes. Every year we take the kids to Knoxbury Farm, so we took them maybe in June or July to Knoxbury Farm.
Sounds like a very friendly divorce.
Well, we were friendly then.
It sounds like a very friendly divorce.
Okay, you can say it's that.
Okay, so now the car has problems shortly after the trip that the family took to Vegas?
Well,
Tell me about this alleged
It actually
loan.
broke down when we were there. And we took it to a place, and I forgot what it needed to be fixed, but whatever it was going to be a lot, like the alternator, or I don't know, he probably knows what it's called. But it was going to take like 10 days, and we couldn't stay that long. So the guy told us just leave early, like at 4 o'clock in the morning and drive slow. And then we came back. He needed money to get the car fixed, so I let him.
Well, tell me about it. I want to hear about it. You came back with the children.
He just asked me if I had money or I could put on my credit card for him. I told him that I can...
Well, who paid for the hotel when you were away in Vegas?
I think I put it on my
hotel?
card, but he agreed to pay me money for that as well.
Well, did he?
No.
Well, Miss Fernandez, I think you're pulling my leg, Miss Fernandez. I think that this is a judicial leg pulling. So you don't think he paid you back from putting the hotel on your credit card. But you're not suing him for that. You're suing him for Christmas presents.
Well, I'm suing him
for... School supplies in September and money that you put on your credit card to have a car fixed that you and the family all use. Where do you live, Mr. Fernandez?
In El Cajon, California.
And who do you live with?
My girlfriend.
And when did you start to have this girlfriend?
2013.
What month? Just a sec. Don't speak.
I'm not good with dates, but I'm pretty much sure what she just said, 2013. That's when everything started going downhill once she found out I had a girlfriend.
Well, when do you think she found out you had a girlfriend?
Actually, she found out this year, maybe about like 5 months ago.
2020?
2020, yes.
How did she find out?
From my young daughter.
Now, when you went away, she didn't have that information. Is that what you're telling me?
You're correct.
How long have you been living with your girlfriend?
For about almost a year. I kept it a secret.
I don't think it was a year. I think it He was out of the house August 1st, 2018, and then I never knew where he lived after that. So it's 2 years in August.
Well, when you went away with him on these family vacations, didn't you ask him where he was living?
He told me he was living with his brother.
And you believed him?
I believed him.
Yeah. So now let's get back to this loan to have the car fixed. I'm waiting. You have to tell me about a contract.
We didn't have a contract. He signed a little, like a little receipt that I gave him because I wanted to make sure he was going to pay me the money back.
I'd like to see that.
That's the bottom.
I don't know what that is.
It's a receipt, and it just says that I gave him a loan.
I see that it's a receipt. Tell me about signing this receipt. Did you sign a receipt from her?
To be honest, Judge, I don't remember signing a receipt.
What I'd like you to do is, Officer Bird's going to give you a piece of paper. I'd like you to sign your name.
Okay.
He didn't sign it. He initialed it. Sometimes
Don't. Hey, don't speak. Sign your name, sir.
Would you like me to sign it or initial it?
Yeah, I would like you to do both. Now I'd like to see her piece of evidence again. Yeah, he never signed that. He never signed that. That's not anything that he signed. You want to tell me, sir, your version of this money for the repair of your car?
I do recall the repair. It was a long trip that weekend. We went to Knott's Berry Farm, and then we also took the kids to Las Vegas. Going up there, I felt the transmission skipping gears, so I told my ex-wife, is there something wrong with the SUV? Once we get to Las Vegas, we was going to get it checked out. Once I determined that it was a transmission and it was going to cost an arm and a leg, and we just didn't have the money at the time, we did drive it back to San Diego. When we did get back to San Diego, I did ask Miss Clarice if she can help me pay for the SUV. She did agree on it, and I just assumed that I already paid my portion for that transmission. And
how did you do that?
I actually took it out my credit card.
Well, show me.
I don't have no receipt.
And I need a bill for the transmission.
The receipt that she just showed you, that's from the transmission place.
No, it isn't. What's the name of the place that did the transmission work?
Dean.
What's the name of the place that... Just a second. Ms. Fernandez, what's the name of the place that did the transmission work?
I didn't take the car. I didn't get the receipt for it. I know I gave him the money, and he got it fixed.
What's the name of the place where you had your transmission fixed?
The transmission place is Jesus Transmission, and it was in Spring Valley, California. And it took over almost like 4 weeks. I just don't have the receipt. I did not bring the receipt with me, ma'am.
Well, we can get that. Jesus Transmission? Is that the name of the place?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you taken your car there before?
No, ma'am. A mechanic at my job recommended that place for me.
Was it a big place or a small place?
It's a small place, ma'am.
Jesus Transmissions?
Yes, ma'am. That's the sign that was on the gate.
And where are they located? In what city?
It was in Spring Valley, California.
Okay. Now, Ms. Fernandez, where did you get the $1,500 from?
From my bank.
Do you have a bank statement?
No. I didn't print my bank statement.
Well, why don't we get one? Just to show me where you withdrew $1,500. That would be a good idea to have, right?
Right.
Because that happened in October of 2019, right?
Right.
Great. And what bank was that you took the money out of?
It's either Navy Federal or San Diego County Credit Union.
Oh, that's easy enough to get. Why don't we recall this case and you get that for me?
Okay.
Okay? All I need is the page from either bank which indicates that in October of 2019, you withdrew at one time $1,500, that is what you gave to Mr. Fernandez. Do you understand?
Yes.
Great. We'll recall. Thank you. Bye.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Did I miss something? Did I see either one of those two dogs attacking a goat on that video?
That's my gate, and they are walking back.
I see them, but I didn't see them attacking anything.
But I have evidence of that.
Well, show me.
In a case recalled from earlier today, Clarice Fernandez claims ex-husband Manuel Fernandez owes for loans to have his vehicle repaired.
Judge, this is recall of case number 28 in the matter of Fernandez versus Fernandez. Parties are reminded you're still under oath.
Thank you, Bert. Ms. Fernandez, you were going to produce for me a statement that in October you made a withdrawal for $1,500.
I couldn't find it I think it was from my Capital One. I don't use the card anymore. The card's been closed, so I wasn't able to get that information.
Well, then I can't help you.
Okay.
Because I'm having some veracity issues.
Okay.
So
well, it seems like you don't want to help me anyways.
No, I do want to help you if you
No,
have
you don't want to.
a
You don't
loan.
want to hear the other things that we.
No, I don't. You have a judgment of divorce. He has an obligation pursuant to that judgment of divorce with regard to payments to you that, according to you, he was living up to. And he is paying child support. So courts don't do that. They don't get involved in, I will pay for half the pencils and half the writing paper and half the books and a Christmas present if you buy. We don't do that. We'd be in business 24/7. Now, if there was a legitimate loan between you and your ex-husband with whom you clearly vacationed with your children after your divorce, I don't know what else. But clearly, at least according to you, on 2 occasions subsequent to the divorce, went away on extended vacations where you all stayed together. So it sort of tests veracity that there was a loan of $1,500 that you can produce nothing but a receipt that clearly he did not sign.
He did sign it.
No, I say he didn't sign it.
Okay, you can say whatever you want. That'll make it true.
Okay. All I asked you for was to get a statement that you withdrew $1,500, and then I can determine if I believe it was a loan or 2 people who were still involved after a 20-year relationship and you were away. So if you cannot produce that document for me, I'm going to dismiss your case without prejudice. You can go back to small claims court once you produce that document.
And they'll take care of it, and I'll get what I'm supposed to get.
And I'm sure that somebody else will when they have the proper proof of the $1,500. So you can have this tape. We'll entertain the rest of your case. We're finished. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I agreed to the lower child support because he was going to help me with our son.
I haven't missed a payment since she took me to court.
Which he has not done.
Everything is on time. Child support, spousal support, so.
And then we agreed that he was going to pay for his daughter's expenses because his daughter lives with me.
She could say what she wants to say, but the payment is there.
She lives with me and I don't get money from him for her.
Ever since she found out about the girlfriend.
Once I realized he had a girlfriend, that's when
things kind of like went downhill between us.
He doesn't want to pay me what he needs to pay me.
Just want to be good parents to the kids and see my kids when I can.
I'll see him back in court.
All parties in the matter of Carrasco Tapia versus Cruz. Step to the podium, please.
Stephanie Carrasco Tapia is suing her neighbor, Eva Cruz, for vet bills and the cost of 2 goats she claims were attacked and killed by Eva's dogs.
Ms. Tapia, do you live in a rural area?
Yes.
Do you live in a home?
Yes.
And is it a fenced backyard?
Yes.
How many goats did you have?
I have 2 males, 2 females, and 1 baby.
Is it the 2 females that were injured?
Yeah.
And it is your claim that dogs owned by the defendant injured those
that's
2
true.
goats? Mm-hmm. Ultimately, they died as a result of the wounds that they had.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz says that the dogs were not hers.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
But she's not responsible for her dogs.
No, she's responsible for her dogs. Your job is to prove to me that your goats were injured by a dog, as opposed to being injured by a coyote or by something else that could walk into your fence.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Stephanie Carrasco Tapia is suing her neighbor, Eva Cruz, for vet bills and the cost of 2 goats she claims were attacked and killed by Eva's dogs.
Now, how long have the 2 of you been neighbors?
2 years.
Does she live right next door to you?
Not next, but she lives in the corner of my street.
When were your goats injured?
In June 8th of 2020.
Now I'd like to see the proof that you have. First, that they were injured by dogs, and then we'll get to what you have.
I have a video which
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
Do you have it? I have to see it.
It's over there.
Okay. Is that the video?
Yes, that's correct. You can see the both dogs. It's a shepherd and people.
So this is a gate that you can walk right through. Did I miss something? Did I see either one of those 2 dogs attacking a goat on that video?
No, the video don't show that.
Did I miss something?
But they...
No.
No, don't show that, but that's my
show them
gate.
sitting down.
That's my gate, and they are walking back, like outside. They get into my property, and then you can see like walking out of my property.
I see them, but I didn't see them attacking anything.
But I have evidence of that.
Well, show me. Show me. I didn't see. There's no evidence that they attacked. Just a second.
I had a picture.
Miss Tapia, there's no evidence on that video that the two dogs, whether they were hers or not, attacked anything on your property. And you don't have a fence all around your property. They didn't knock down a fence. They walked through the fence.
Okay, so...
And then I saw one of them sit down. At no time were these dogs behaving aggressively. Okay, now let me see what proof that you have that the dogs behaved in any way aggressively towards your goats.
Okay, so you can see the time and the date when the dogs get into my property, and that happened in June 8. And I took my goats to a hospital in June 8, the same day
June
like
8th?
the video. Yes.
Okay, but so far I didn't see dogs attacking your goats. I didn't see these two dogs attacking your goats. So I don't care what the hospital said so far. I need proof how your goats were injured.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I need proof that your goats were injured by the defendant's dogs. She says they weren't even her dogs. But I need proof that they were injured by any dogs, as opposed to being injured by a coyote or by a jackal or by something else that could walk into your fence. These dogs did not appear aggressive when they walked into your back. What proof do you have that I can see that proves to me that your goats were injured by a dog?
I don't have the video when they was attacked from her dogs because I don't have cameras.
Well, I don't know that they were,
like
Miss Tapia, I don't know. And if you have no proof that I can rely on that your goats were attacked by her dogs, this video doesn't show that. This video shows actually rather two docile dogs, whether they were hers or whether they weren't hers, whether she just fed them or not. But you didn't see it. And she, I assume, was sleeping also at 3 o'clock.
But
and
she's
the dogs
not...
didn't appear to do any damage.
But she's not responsible for her dogs, and also...
No, she's responsible for her dogs. Your job is to prove to me that your goats were injured by a dog. I didn't see any evidence in this, and you acknowledge that there's no evidence here to show me any aggressive behavior by those dogs. I don't doubt that your goats were injured. What I'm saying to you is that you have no proof that the defendant is responsible for it because no proof that they were injured by a dog as opposed to something else. Anything could get into your yard because it really wasn't a totally fenced yard. It was open. Is that the extent of your evidence?
Yeah.
Okay. Then your case is dismissed, Ms. Tapia. Thank you very much. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
My neighbor told me that he saw the dogs frequently.
I mean, there was no proof that the dogs actually attacked her animals.
Walking in the front of my house.
I did see them, but it wasn't her house. It was the neighbor's house.
And his house. And actually, one day...
The pets were not mine. They were rescued. They came to my house. I fed them and gave them water.
Her dogs trying to attack him.
I like animals. So...
yeah, I bring them to the hospital.
I said, bring me a bill and let me know if you need some help. I have friends that could help you.
Well, they give me a medicine, but they died after.
Yeah, I don't know her, but yes, I don't know where she lives. I never knew her address.
No more ghosts for now, yeah.
But yes, anyway, I do want to be a good neighbor.
A fitness instructor's questionable technique.
The agreement was I would collect payment at the end of the classes.
That's not a way to do business.
I thought I could trust her.
Now,
we never completed the sessions.
Logic gets a workout.
What justification is there?
I was late. Half the classes weren't even 2 hours.
She probably doesn't understand what she's trying to say.
This is Judge Judy. Zumba instructor Taylor Coco Patterson is suing former student Nikki Herrera for the cost of classes.
Judges, case number 94 on the calendar in the matter of Patterson versus Herrera. The parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Ms. Patterson, you allege that you had a contract with the defendant, and that contract provided that she was going to pay $2,000 for private dance classes that you were going to provide her. Those dance classes were Zumba classes. That's a very active form of dancing that's really athletic. I tried it once. I wasn't very good at it, but I am familiar with it. How long have you been a Zumba instructor?
For approximately 5 years.
Do you give private lessons as well as lessons for groups?
Yes.
Ms. Herrera, how did you find Miss Patterson? Who referred you to her?
I actually found her on Instagram. A few people I saw on my timeline had already booked her, and so I just reached out to them.
In what month and year did you reach out to her?
It was January of 2020.
How far away does she live from you?
About 2 hours.
It's a 2-hour drive?
With traffic, yes.
What was the contract you made with her?
Actually, for 10 Zumba private classes for the $2,000.
When were they supposed to start?
January 30th of 2020.
Was that a weekend or a weekday?
It was a weekday. Our first class was a weekday.
So you had a round trip of 4 hours on that day?
Correct.
So you went to the first class?
I did.
Did you go to a second class?
Yes, ma'am.
On what date?
I can't remember the exact date, but it was supposed to be on Thursdays and Saturdays. So my first class was on a Thursday, and then the second class was that Saturday.
What was the second date you went for a class, Miss Patterson?
Well, the first date was January 30th. The second date would have been Saturday, February the 1st, 2020.
So she went one day right after another?
No, it wasn't going to be like that. It was like 2 days a week, typically Thursdays and Saturdays, because those were days that we agreed upon that we would both be available.
Did she attend the class on February 1st?
Yes.
And there were supposed to be 10 of these classes for $2,000. Is that right?
Yes, 2-hour classes, 10 2-hour classes, yes.
Now, you had never met her before, so could you explain to me, as somebody who's been in the business for 4 or 5 years, and since you never met her before, could you explain to me why you didn't, as people usually do in this kind of business, it's $2,000, you pay up front and then you eat off whatever it is. You not only didn't ask for any money up front, but she didn't even pay you when she came, at least the first 2 classes. You want to explain that to me?
Yes, because the agreement was, number one, the first reason is she was referred by a longtime client of mine.
Well, that's what you say. That's not what she says. She says that she found you through Instagram.
Through a client of
that
mine.
You may have.
So a client that
That's not what she said.
Well, she probably doesn't understand what she's trying to say. A human being referred her to me. So she may have reached out to that human being. That human being reached out to me and then vouched for her as a person that I should work with. So that's how I got the referral. So that's number one. Number two.
Well, she says she got you via Instagram.
But Instagram is
and
like
she
friends.
Got you via
you have
Instagram
friends
from
on Instagram.
Somebody.
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand that. So she found it on her Instagram. Somebody that she knew had taken classes from you. That person contacted you.
Yes.
And that's how you got together.
Yes.
Okay. She found you on Instagram.
Through a friend, through a mutual friend.
Another person who she was
friends with,
connected to on Instagram.
Who had taken my classes.
You don't necessarily have to be a friend to somebody who's on Instagram. You know, people have 967 people.
Right.
I think I know 967 photographed to.
Try 30,000.
Anyway, do you want to try to explain to me why you didn't take any money from her the first 2 classes?
Because the agreement was that I would collect payment at the end of the classes. And, you know, me being...
But that's not a way to do business. Nobody does business like that in the training business. No trainer comes in and says, you do your class.
I do. I have worked with trainers before who I have not paid up front, who have collected from me at the end. So it might not have been the wisest decision. Hindsight is 20/20 vision, you know, but it was the decision I made. I was trying to be friendly, jovial. You know, I thought I could trust her. I have other people who have paid in this same exact manner. I had no problems collecting payment. The classes are worth it. They were good. So the person who referred her was someone I also trusted. So I thought it would be okay this time around.
What's the name of the person who referred you?
Summer.
Summer what?
That's
I only know her first name is Summer. She's not someone I wouldn't know her last name. Instagram is typically Instagram name, first name, but she's my client.
You said she was a very good client of yours.
She was, but I know her as Summer.
You say in your complaint she was referred to me
by a longtime client.
By a longtime client.
Yes, but
whose last name you don't know?
No. I'm sorry.
Well, if you look on your phone, how would you list Summer if she was a longtime client, if you had to get in touch with her?
Summer Bunny.
So find it in your phone.
It's on my Instagram.
Well, your Instagram is also on your phone.
Right, but what do you want me to do?
Well, if she was a longtime client, let me ask you this question, madam, if you want me to fully understand you.
Okay.
If you had a longtime client whose name was Summer, whose last name you don't know.
Right.
But you got sick, and you had to call them or notify them not to come to the class because you were sick, as you were sick a couple of times when she was supposed to take classes, how would you get in touch with Summer?
Two ways.
You sent her a photograph of you in bed?
No, I could do that with Instagram, but I would text her on Instagram. I would send her a DM on Instagram and let her know that I wasn't feeling well and I wasn't going to be able to make it. And that's how I would reach her. And she might not reply back.
All I want you to do is take out your phone.
Yes.
And show me on Instagram text Summer. And show me that goes through on Instagram. I'm here doing a case with a person you referred to me. I just would like to see it.
No worries.
To Summer.
Oh, here she is. So should I sit it here?
Yes, please.
All right. So I'm going to sit my phone here. So unfortunately,
Great.
This is her profile.
Great. Okay. Now that you've found this, can you find me possibly where you have any communication about the defendant with Summer?
Oh, no, we had verbal conversations. Like at the end of a class, I spoke with her and she mentioned her to me. And also by way of just phone call. Phone
call?
Yeah, phone call or either a class.
Phone call. Well, also
but she and I, we were doing a class together. No. We were doing a class together, and that's where she mentioned her.
Okay. How many classes in total prior to the pandemic did Miss Herrera take from you?
Well, the pandemic happened in March, so I would say 8. Approximately, we complete. No, not approximate, but 8 classes.
Is that correct? How many round trips did you make to her house?
I took 7 classes. She missed the last 3.
No, I missed 2.
It was 3.
I missed 2.
She missed the last 3.
Okay. Did you pay her for those classes?
No.
Why?
Well, I was supposed to pay her at the end of our session, our 10 sessions. We never completed the sessions to even do that. She just sent me an invoice.
So you don't think that because you took 7 2-hour classes with her, you have any responsibility?
She was late. Half the classes weren't even 2 hours, and she didn't. So I don't understand why am I paying for classes that weren't complete?
You have a piece of paper there.
Mm-hmm.
What is that piece of paper?
These are my notes.
What are those 2 pieces of paper?
These are my notes, and this is the invoice. And then one of our text messages that I found. I have a new phone and number, so this was just the last that I had.
Okay. I'd like to see the invoice she sent you. Well, what is that? That is a nothing. Take that away. That's a nothing that somebody made up. Okay. Now let me see the text message. What is this? I'm staying that Friday, leaving on Saturday. Is those messages from her?
So this is my message here. This first message, she missed
I'll be there Friday.
Correct. She missed she missed classes, and she was supposed to, let me know when we can make them up. So I was messaging her, letting her know I was going to be in her city this day, but I was not staying. And so I just let her know I was going to be here to see if maybe we can, get together for a class. And she said yes, but it just took her forever to respond.
Unless you need me. Afternoon. Also, what about your friend? What's the friend?
She asked me a while back if I knew anyone who did hair, and I sent her the person's name or whatever, and that was it. But they didn't respond back to her, so I think that's what she was responding, like, what happened to your friend? But I called her because it takes her forever to even respond to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I just feel like I came to her classes. I'm driving 2 hours. Half the time, she's late to every class. Why am I paying you for a class and you're not even giving me the full
So why
hours?
didn't you just say, I'm not coming anymore?
And later today,
Why don't you sue him? He sold the salon.
Because I have no idea where...
He sold the salon.
I have no idea where he is.
That's not my problem.
Zumba instructor Taylor Coco Patterson claims former student Nikki Herrera owes for classes.
Okay, I'm going to take your figure that you took 7 classes. It still means that you owe her $1,400. How can you not pay her anything? What justification do you have? And this is the end of February when you've already taken, according to you, most, if not all of the classes that you took. What justification is there for you not to pay her any money?
Okay, came to her classes. I'm driving 2 hours. We get there. Half the time, she's late to every class. The class is only 2 hours. Why am I paying you for a full class, and you're not even giving me the full
So why
hours?
didn't you just say, I'm not coming anymore?
Well, I did later on.
Why didn't you just say, I'm not coming anymore? I'm not making a 4-hour trip if you're going to be late.
Well, Your Honor, that's kind of why I kind of just stopped, going to the classes, the last few classes.
Well, that's okay, but then you stop and you pay her. You don't stop and don't pay her.
So I'm going to pay her for
That's
classes
irresponsible.
that didn't get completed? That doesn't make sense.
It makes perfect sense to me. If you took the class, if you said to her, sorry, you're a half-hour late, and if you say it happened the first time she was a half-hour late and I had driven 2 hours to get there, I would say, this is not working out for me. I'm going to pay you for the class that I took or the 2 classes that I took, but I'm not coming back here. I'm not making a 4-hour round trip if you're going to be disrespectful of my time and come a half-hour late.
I've spoke to her.
And you spoke to her, but you continued to come. You're ridiculous.
I mean, I figured she would change
pay
up
for the classes. I'm not giving you the $2,000 that you want. I don't think you're entitled to money that you didn't earn, but you did do some work.
I did work.
$1,400 cover the hourly?
Yes.
$1,400. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I don't agree with it, but I respect it. It is what it is. I just know not to do business with her again.
She wanted to work on the booty. She wanted to get her booty right.
I had a young man, so I was trying to get my groove back.
Money up front from now on out. You can't trust anyone.
All parties in the matter of Ernst Palmer versus Trivedi Abus Yunus. Step to the podium, please.
Joyette Ernst Palmer is suing Ravi Trivedi and Rabi Abu Yunus for property left behind at a salon they purchased.
Ernst Palmer,
Yes.
your business is or was in a tanning salon, and you had your own tanning salon piece of equipment.
Yes, I was a mobile service, and this was the first time I was working out of a salon.
And you brought your machine to a salon.
Correct.
They had nothing to do with the salon that you brought your machine to. Who was the owner of the salon that you brought your machine to?
The owner was Asfer. It was under previous ownership when I was originally hired back in May of 2019.
Okay. Now, at some point, you agreed to sell your mobile unit to Mr. Asfar.
Correct.
For $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you make that agreement with Mr. Asfar?
I made it on January 21st of 2020.
And he paid you for the $60.
Correct, in increments.
And Mr. Asfar had a balance of $340.
Correct.
That he owed you.
Yes.
On the machine.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you were whole. And then Mr. Asfar sold the salon to these 2 gentlemen.
Correct.
That was when? When did you purchase the salon? Month and year?
February 6th, 2020.
When they purchased the salon, did you advise them that the piece of equipment had a balance due of $340?
Yes, I did.
Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
Did she at any time tell you that she had a prior agreement with the prior owner to purchase the salon?
No, we were not aware of any prior agreement whatsoever.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Okay, so when did you have a conversation with either one of the 2 defendants?
I spoke with Robbie. It was in March because I was still waiting for the rest of the money from Mr. Asfor. And I told him
Yes.
I'm still owed $340 for my equipment.
So
and
why don't you, just a second, why don't you sue him? He sold the salon.
Because I have no idea where...
He sold the salon. Whether you had...
I have no idea where he is.
Well,
My
that's
personal stuff...
That's not my problem.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So your accountant had to speak to the seller's representative. Just say yes or no.
Yes,
Don't shake your head. This is audio-visual.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Joyette Erst Palmer claims Ravi Trivedi and Rabi Abu Yunus owe for a tanning machine and personal property left behind at a salon they purchased. She is also suing for lost wages.
Okay, go ahead.
They have all my stuff.
No, they
also
have none of your stuff. No.
They have it in the salon. He wouldn't let me take it.
No, listen to me. Because COVID struck, he got rid of all the towels and robes and that stuff that was in the shop. He purchased the shop. Listen, there's no question that they have a contract that they're going to show me. Is that correct? That you purchased the shop and all the stuff in the shop?
That's correct.
You want to put that up there? Good. Just point to the area in the purchase agreement where you purchase everything that's in the salon.
Yes. So we have the excluded liabilities and assumed liabilities.
Oh, well, that's an interesting thing. So, Mr. Erstpalmer.
Yes.
Your lawsuit is against Mr. Asfor, not the defendants. You've been paid $660 for your tanning machine. On a one owes you $340.
Correct.
Not the defendants.
Along with they have my stuff, though, in the salon. I never agreed to sell my personal stuff, just the machine.
Just for my own information, what personal stuff are you talking about?
I brought 2 sheets with me. I brought hair accessories.
I'm not interested in sheets. Not interested in your hair accessories. What's next? Come on.
That is my personal stuff that is my personal stuff that I purchased and I brought from home.
Do you have any of that stuff? Do you have 2 sheets and hair accessories is my question.
We do not have it anything. It
they
was
don't
never
have it.
there.
What's next? Just a second. I don't care. I just want to know if you, I'm just asking if you have her 2 sheets and her hair accessories. I would say if you have them, give them back to her. What else? You're suing the wrong people for your tanning machine. You have to find and sue Mr. Asfor, and maybe they can even help you locate him because they paid him $33,000. So they, right? You paid $33,000 for the business?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm sure you have a bank account that you had to pay the money to, unless you paid him in cash. Did you pay him in cash?
We paid via the cashier's check.
Did you have a lawyer on this sale of the business? Did you have a lawyer?
It went through my CPA. We didn't go through the lawyer.
Fine. So you have an accountant.
Yes, ma'am.
So your accountant had to speak to the sellers. Shake your head.
Yes,
This is, you know, audio-visual.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. I'm directing you to make available to the plaintiff any information that you have that will enable her to locate Mr. Asfor for her $340. Do you understand?
That's correct. We do have his driving license and it has his address. She could reach out.
Perfect.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Perfect. What do you want?
They have all my stuff, and I lost wages. I had clients calling.
We're done. They don't owe you a thing. Mr. Asfor owes you $340. Find him. They're going to give you his driver's license. We're finished.
What about my other stuff that's there? If they don't have it, don't they owe me?
No, they owe you nothing.
I'm not owed the money to have to repurchase?
They owe you nothing. They don't owe you for your 2 sheets or your hair accessories. We're finished.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, a party planner didn't pay her bills.
I never received a billing.
We're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless...
I think it was straight to the point and justice was served.
I will be contacting the previous owner.
Get ready to back to business. Yes, please.
Time to get back to business.
You ordered it.
A party planner didn't pay her bills.
The work was performed and you accepted the labor.
Now the judge gets a song and dance.
You didn't communicate with her?
Never.
What she was supposed to do?
Never. We never talked about price. I never received a billing.
We're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney.
This is Judge Judy. Renee Roberts is suing event planner Maricela Reyes for the cost of props she created for a fundraiser.
Judge, this is case number 87 on the calendar in the matter of Roberts versus Reyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge.
Ms. Roberts, it is your claim that the defendant owes you for some work that you did for a charitable fundraiser that she was involved with.
Yes.
Tell me what the charity was and when the event was.
It's called the Cops and Robbers Ball, and it was put on by the Community Law Enforcement Foundation in our town.
How did you find the defendant, or how did she find you?
Well, we have a mutual friend. It's somebody that I do a lot of business with. We're a networking group, and she...
What's that person's
name? Her
name?
name is Terry, and she's also on the committee for this Cops and Robbers Ball. So after one of her committee meetings, she sent me a text and did an introduction between...
You mean Terry did?
Terry did, yes.
Do you have the text?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Miss Reyes?
Yes.
Do you know Terry? Is she on the committee with you?
Yes, she's in the committee.
That's a yes or a no. Is she on the committee with you?
Yes.
Fundraising committee. She was in 2019.
Correct.
And you recall events surrounding planning the Cops and Robbers Ball that night?
Yes.
Or whatever night it was going to be, May 4th.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Now I'd like to see the text.
So there's a couple before and after.
Shh. Just a second. Okay. So let us assume for the moment, Ms. Roberts, you had a conversation with Terry via text message. Now, what work were you going to do for the Cops and Robbers Ball?
Well, for the Cops and Robbers invitations, stuff like that. And I do a lot of other work with Terry as well in her business and my business. So she was, referring that not just for the Cops and Robbers.
No, just a second. Okay. Now we're finished with Terry. I don't want to hear anything that you had to do with Terry.
Okay.
Because now we're on the defendant.
Okay.
You were supposed to do what for this event on May 4th? What do you allege that you have a contract with the defendant to do for the May 4th event?
There were some props that she wanted to be part of the overall design of the
So
event.
it was props?
Yes.
Your complaint says cutouts of cops and robbers.
Yes.
Life-size cutouts.
Yes.
Okay, is that what the props that you're talking about?
Yes.
Now, when for the first time did you speak to the defendant about these props?
I don't know the exact date.
What date?
It's somewhere...
well, let's get to the exact...
Well...
Unless you have a written contract, I'm going to need a date because what you're talking about is a contract to perform work.
Right. So it looks like it was in early February. We spoke on the phone. We tried to meet up back and forth, like we missed phone calls. We tried to meet up.
Tried, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Not interested in coulda, woulda, shoulda. You think you had a phone call with her in February that on your phone?
I don't have that phone call on my phone.
Well, why not? You have the text message from Terry that preceded that phone call.
Right.
So why wouldn't you have the phone call in February of 2020? Unless we could skip over that. Did you have a phone conversation with the plaintiff in February of 2020?
Never.
My question is, did you ever speak to her in February or in any other month after February?
After that, yes. She was going to bring me a sample of it. I don't remember the date.
No, just a second. A sample of what?
Of the cutout that she was doing.
So if she was going to do a cutout as a prop for this event on May 4th,
sample, yes,
there had to be a preceding conversation of someone telling her what the committee wanted. Are you telling me that that wasn't you? You didn't communicate with her what she was supposed to do?
Never.
So the conversation that you had with her, what you're telling me is the only conversation that you had with her up until this point is for her to tell you or you to tell her, bring me a sample of what you're doing.
Correct.
And can you tell me approximately what month that was?
It probably was, and I don't have an exact date. It was probably...
And was that the first time you met her?
I've never met her. Most of the communication was with Terry. And
you mean your communication?
Was with Terry, yes.
How many times did you speak to the plaintiff?
Never.
Well, you said you did have one conversation with her in
One conversation
April.
because I had called to see if I could get a sample because we weren't even sure if I was going to be able to use the props. So I wanted them to give me one sample.
Okay. How did you get her phone number?
I'm sure probably Terry gave it to me. But when the conversation first took place, the fundraiser, everything that I was doing was running around $13,000, $14,000. And
listen to me.
Okay.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Right now, I'm trying to see if there's a contract here between you.
There isn't.
And the plaintiff.
No.
Well, you say there isn't. That's what I'm trying to establish, whether or not there existed a contract between you and the plaintiff.
Correct.
So that's really a burden that's on the plaintiff to demonstrate to me that there existed between the two of you a contract, which was an offer and acceptance and some consideration. The consideration here, according to you, is $882, and you have to tell me exact. I assume you do not have a written contract.
Correct. It was an oral contract.
So now you have to tell me when that took place. Exactly. When and where it took place.
It was in a phone call, and it was in early March or the end of February.
Did you call her, or did she call you?
I don't remember exactly, but I probably called her, and then she told me...
And that was after... Shh, just a second. Okay. And that was after your text with Terry.
Yes.
So that you should have a log in your phone of that call.
Yeah, I went back to my phone log, and all I could find was the text messages that were after that. So I don't know why the phone log. I probably have in my phone bill, but I didn't bring the copy of the phone call, but just the emails and the texts that we sent back and forth.
Well, you sent Terry a text.
Yes, and there's a reason for that.
And you texted Terry back and forth. So now you're going to tell me what you allege this February phone call was between you and the defendant.
So she was giving me the kind of her concept and idea about these props that she wanted and how she was going to try to hang them from helium balloons and hang them from the ceiling. So we weren't looking if it was going to work. She was going to use magnets. So I told her that I would come up with some ideas about how it would work, make a sample for her. We talked about a price range of what usually something about that costs.
No, you're not being specific enough for me.
Okay.
You talked about a price range. What did you tell her?
I told her the price range of something that was similar that I've done before was between $58 and $102 each, depending on how we ended up doing it and the materials and that kind of thing.
Just a second. So you told her between $58 and $102. So one is half as much as the other.
Yes.
And keep going.
And yeah, she said that would be fine. So I said, let me see what's going to work.
What would be fine? $58 or $102?
To keep it within...
I mean, she's planning a charity event.
Right.
She has a certain budget.
Right.
I assume you had a certain budget. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Is that correct, Ms.
Correct.
Rose? So she's trying to keep it within the budget. You're making a contract with her.
Yes.
You don't make a contract between 58 and 102.
Well,
and she says, okay, then there's no contract.
Well, that was until I can figure out what would be the best way to do it. So once I knew what materials I was going to use and, you know, how I was going to produce it and
when
print
did that
it.
happen?
On March 14th, my husband dropped off the sample to her, and she got
Hold on. Did her husband drop off a sample to you?
Yes. I don't no, at the office, at our warehouse. But, yes.
Her husband dropped off a sample at your warehouse March 14th.
If that's the day she says correct, yes.
Right. She has it down, March 14th. Did you see the sample on that day?
Yes.
Did you communicate with her thereafter?
I must have, yes.
That's either a yes or a no. Did you communicate with her thereafter?
I think I communicated with Terry.
Whether you communicated with Terry or not, did you order 10 or 12 of these cutouts?
I ordered them through Terry.
I don't care if you ordered them through Godzilla. You ordered 10 of them after she sent you a sample.
Yes.
And did you make the 10 cutouts?
I made the 10
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
After she made the 10 cutouts, did you want 2 more? That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
Did she make 2 more?
Yes.
All right. Now we're at a different place.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What is your business?
Party rental, event design.
You did this event for this charity for money? Just follow what I'm saying to you. Are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Renee Roberts claims event planner Maricela Reyes never paid for props she created for a police fundraiser.
Now we're at a place where she doesn't have to even show me her phone because the work was performed and you accepted the labor of that work. So your answer when it says, I don't know her anything, I never even met her.
Correct.
Well, I don't care whether you met her or not. If I order something through Amazon and they send me 6 bottles of Listerine and I don't pay for it because I said, I never met the people who make Listerine.
Okay, well...
you ordered it.
Okay.
You commissioned it to be done. So I am presuming, for the purposes of this questioning, that you did have a preliminary discussion with her about what your creative process was with regard to this event and how she could fit in with that process by creating these props.
Correct.
In addition to what else you were doing. So you did have a conversation. Pursuant to that conversation, she did make you a sample. You saw the sample. You ordered 10 of them. You realized you wanted 2 more. You ordered 2 more. So, Miss Reyes, they have to be paid for. The price. To whom did you relay what price you ultimately came up with between 58 and 102?
The final price on the final invoice that I sent her a couple days before the event.
Was for how much? For each cutout?
There's 2 different versions, and so one was $70 each and one was $102 each. And so I did have to modify it when it was 12, and then I discounted it 20% because I knew she was also donating it from her end.
Okay, well, I'm going to make this easy because I think that you have to get paid for what you did.
But what I was trying to explain, what I was trying to explain, when we sat in the meeting with the committee, they sat at my office, they were offering me very little money. The total bill was $12,000, $13,000, and I wanted to get more money. And they said, we cannot get more money. And I said, I still have to buy these props, I still have to buy these gobos, I still got to buy jewelry and all this other stuff. Terry then says, don't worry about the cutouts. I could get the cutouts for you.
You can't tell me what Terry said. Listen to me. Listen to me. You're in business.
Correct.
You're in business. Is
but
that
I
right?
never talked to her.
Just a second.
We never talked about price. I never received a billing from her, an invoice or anything. So I never got the invoice. If she said she had a...
For this charity, for money. Just follow what I'm saying to you. Are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She made money. It is unreasonable for her to make money and for you to make nothing. So we're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Renee Roberts is accusing event planner Maricela Reyes of failing to pay for props she created for a police fundraiser.
Now, are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Absolutely. I donated out of $13,000, $9,000 of that was donations from me. So my whole objective is, how can I make this event look fabulous without spending as least amount of money? Because I still had labor. I still had to buy other product. I was already communicating.
Ms. Reyes, we're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney. What is your business?
I am an event designer.
What is your business?
Party rental, event design.
Okay. No, just a second. You are an event designer. That is your business. And when you did this event for
cops and robbers,
law enforcement,
right?
Is this the first year that you're doing it?
Nope, third year.
How many other events does your company do for charity during the year?
Probably about three large.
How many? Very easy. You're a company. We can look up your records.
Right.
How many events does your company do for charity each year?
3.
3 large ones. And how many small ones?
high schools, I don't know, maybe about 10.
And what are the 3 large ones?
I do it for another Indian organization for battered Indian women, and then I do the cops and robbers, and then I do one for Morgan Hill for the volunteers, just people that volunteer in our small town.
And you do them for high school?
High school all the time.
Do you ever do events for private people?
Absolutely. That's mostly what I do.
What kind of an events do you do for private people?
Weddings, any celebration, any milestone celebration.
So this is your business?
This is my business.
You are event?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm an event designer.
This is your business. You are an event planner.
Correct.
This is your business.
Correct.
They give you a budget. They give you a budget, and you work within that budget. So what you're telling me is that you were under the impression that these props were going to be donated by the plaintiff. That's what you're telling me.
Just like the Gobles were donated, just like everything else was donated to my company.
No, not your time.
It's not my time. It's also other products. So this person, Terry,
Ms.
also
Reyes.
volunteered Gobos. Gobos
I don't care what
and I never got a bill for that either. So I'm assuming that these weren't being billed.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. $696 is 58 times 12. Is that what you delivered to her? 12?
12, but they
12 props?
They were more than that,
12.
but yes.
But
well, I don't care.
So I have another thing.
If you have any proof, don't speak. If you have any proof to me of the exact amount, then that is more of a contract than what you can sue on to merit it, which means that she took the benefit of what you did. She made a little money. If she pays you, she makes a little less money, is really what it comes down to. So if she's dealing with a charity, she gets a lot of people to donate stuff, and she thinks a lot of people are going to donate stuff. And instead of making $3,000 on this, she's going to have to make $2,500 on this one because you did, in fact, do work, which she used. She approved the initial prop that you sent. She used the 10 that were ordered. She said, I really could use 2 more. And she communicated that to you. You made the 2 more. She used the 2 more. She made money. It is unreasonable for her to make money and for you to make nothing. So I'm not giving you anywhere near the higher figure you're looking for. But you are entitled to something for your effort. And you said the low end was 58, the high was 102. That comes to $696. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished.
Case is completed. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
She called the police 7 times on me, terrorizing me. I need therapy after dealing with this female. I didn't do anything wrong.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop.
Judge Judy.
Well, I think it's a good decision. When you do work, you should get paid.
I disagree because I never communicated. She never called me.
And also, her company was listed as one of the largest sponsors, so she got a lot of credit.
We never talked price, so she lied in court. She literally went out and lied.
For donating it. So I wasn't listed as a sponsor. She was listed as a sponsor. She donated it. She's got to pay up.
And the extra 2 ones, I didn't order them. They ordered them. Everything was for the committee.
She ordered them, and I thought it was the start of a working together situation. But
so just because Terry goes, we have 2 more tables, I go, that means you need 2 more props. That's what they ordered.
I don't think we'll be working together anymore.
She just stood in court and lied. And that's it.
Pay your bills. You order it up, you got to pay for it.
No, just very disappointed. Very disappointed.
A tenant left no physical damage.
Why didn't you return her security?
But
She tried to start fights regularly.
will the landlord ever recover?
She called the police 7 times on me, terrorizing me. I'm scared. I'm shaking. I need therapy.
Stop. It's time to stop.
Whatever you say, Judge Judy.
This is Judge Judy. 23-year-old Sarah Rolak is suing her former landlord, Anna Belacqua, for the return of rent and security deposit, an illegal eviction, and assault.
Judge, this is case number 91 on the calendar, the matter of Rolak versus Belacqua. Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Rolak, you rented a room from the defendant over a year ago.
Correct.
And you moved out of that room because of what you allege was harassment, whatever, but that was over a year ago.
Correct.
And your lawsuit has several components. One is some rent return. One is for your security deposit. A lot of it has to do with this terrorizing that each of you claim the other is responsible for, which I assume that you've gone on leading your life, Ms. Rolak?
Correct.
I assume you've gone on leading your life for the last year and a half, other than the pandemic,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you found another place to live?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're happy at the other place to live?
Yes.
And you are not engaged in serious therapy after you left her house?
No.
No. So let's deal with the easy bread and butter part of your lawsuit, which is the return. You moved into the room when?
April of 2019.
And how much was the rent?
Rent was originally $1,190, and then after the first month, since the Wi-Fi did not work, she allowed me to...
Don't go. But listen to me. Don't want to hear about the Wi-Fi not working. Not important with regard to your security deposit.
Right.
Did the rent ever change from $1,119?
Yes, it did.
No,
It did.
190.
Don't speak until I speak to you. We understand each other?
Yes. Yes,
Perfect.
Your Honor.
Perfect. Did it remain $1,119?
No, it did not.
When did it change?
That first month in April, after the first 2 weeks, I let Anna know that the Wi-Fi wasn't working,
Okay.
which is why it went to $1,160 afterwards.
1,160.
60. Yes.
Did you pay April's rent?
Yes.
Did you pay May's rent?
Yes.
Did you pay June's rent?
Yes.
Did you pay July's rent?
Yes.
Did you pay August's rent?
Yes.
You moved out on August 21st.
Correct.
According to your papers. Now I'm talking to you. Did Miss Rolak pay her rent in April?
She paid 1,190, so yes. Did, however, she was $30 short on
She paid
each following month.
1,160.
Correct. That's
Just a
$30 short of the amount she agreed to pay at move-in.
Look at my direction. You accepted her rent in May of $1,160. Did you accept that rent? That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
Did you pay by check or cash?
I paid via Venmo app.
I have the receipt.
Venmo.
Yeah, it's like cash.
So you accepted it. You didn't return it to her. That's a yes.
Yes.
In June, did you accept her rent of $1,160?
Yes.
In July, did you accept her rent?
Yes.
In August, did you accept her rent?
Yes.
Did you have a written lease?
Yes. It was partially
For how
typed out. I'd have to double check on the dates for the lease agreement, but I know I did end it early due to what was happening.
Do you have a copy of the lease easily accessible?
Yes.
May I see it, please? Okay, very good. 4 to 6 months. All right, nobody signs a lease from 4 to 6 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She was there for the 5 months anyway. Okay, that's it. I don't have to see any more. Very good. Now, did you pay a security deposit?
I
didn't ask you whether he had proof, and you interrupted again.
Excuse me.
Did you give her security deposit?
I gave her $800 cash for the security deposit.
When?
I think it was like March 28th. It was a few days before I moved in. We sat down and I gave her the cash for the lease.
But the rent you paid by this app?
Correct, yes.
Tell me why.
It was just easier for me because I got, the weekly checks, and I don't like to carry cash around with me. It seems kind of silly, but I just rather pay via Venmo.
Okay. When you moved in April, did you pay her first and last month's rent, or just first month's rent and security?
Just the first month in security.
Now, let's be very careful in your response to me. Understand?
Yes.
Is what you're telling me that she did not pay you security?
No, I'm saying I don't have a receipt for it. I don't have any
okay.
record that it was received.
Well, just a second. Well, memory and a receipt are two different things. if you have no receipt, that's one thing. If you don't have a memory of it, then I have to rely on her memory of it.
I would let no one move in without paying deposit.
So it's fair to say that she paid security.
Assumedly so, yes.
Yes, of course. Okay, now we have you paying your rent. You moved out. You had an altercation with her, which you will maybe tell me, maybe not. I would like you, because now the ball is in your court, for you to show me any damage that she caused that ate up her security, which clearly you didn't give back to her.
Your Honor, the damages of the room were minimal. I just had to clean it and replace the shades, etc. The place looked fine.
So that there were no damages. So then why didn't you return her security?
Because she tried to engage myself and the other person who lived there into altercation. She tried to start fights regularly. And also the French girl who lived there complained about her. She's a surly, unpleasant person. She made the environment negative. As a result, after 4 months, I asked her to leave. I gave her a 30-day notice. The day after I gave her the notice, she attempted to engage me in the altercation by shouting insults at me and then putting her phone 6 inches from my face and filming it. And then in the process, so she used that and accused me of hitting her. After that, she called the police 7 times on me to my house, terrorizing me in my home. As a result, I have post-traumatic stress. I'm scared. I'm shaking. I need therapy after dealing with this female. I'm
going to stop you right there.
And Your Honor,
I
did return $264. After she lost her job, she continued using her time to call my landlords, terrorize the city, complain about the house, get fees accrued for the house. She tried to get me in trouble with the police on multiple occasions. I didn't do anything wrong.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop.
Okay.
Did she return $264 of the security to you?
Yes, she did.
So the answer is she returned $264 of the security to you.
Correct. Yes.
Which means that there is still due and owing on the security $536.
Correct.
However, ROLAC is responsible for damages to myself regarding city fees.
No, she is not.
Okay.
No, she's not.
Whatever you say, Judge Judy.
Not. Yeah, she's not. Ms. Balakwa, I think that you are under certain stressors, as we all are. It's a world. I don't want to exacerbate your stress.
Thank you.
So I don't think that it's necessary for me to go in much further to ensure that you get the remainder of your security deposit back, which is $536.
What about terrorizing me, calling the police on me? 7 times in my home, having them bang on my doors and windows. That's what she did to me. She's a Karen.
What I'm going to tell you is, in order to go into what you allege is how she terrorized you, certainly later on, because you accepted her rent, April, May, June, July.
It was after the fact.
You accepted her rent. Just a second. You accepted her rent. You didn't move to evict her. I think it's in your best interest to not go into, as you say, it's caused you a lot of stress. You're in therapy. You have issues.
Excuse me, Judge Judy. I did not say I was in therapy and that I have issues, okay? This girl terrorized me in my home, and so I asked for damages. So please don't tell me I have issues, okay?
Well, just a second. You told me you have issues as a result of it.
No, I'm telling you that she harassed and terrorized me in my home.
Okay. That's why you asked her to leave. And she left. And you have to return her security deposit, $536. A year and a half ago, what you're telling me is that you have no after effect of that.
That's false. In fact, for the past year and a half, she has
if you do, then I'm telling you
legal pursuits, Your Honor. This is terrorism.
Just a second.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
How long have you and the defendant been an item?
How long have me and him been a who?
How long have you and the defendant? She would be the defendant.
Sarah Rolak claims former landlord Anna Belacqua owes for the return of rent and security deposit, an illegal eviction, and an assault. Anna is countersuing for unpaid rent, harassment, and a false restraining order.
When was the last time the plaintiff filed a case against you other than this case?
There
Give
were
me the month and
multiple
year.
attempted restraining orders.
You have to, Miss Belacqua, you have to answer my question. I said, other than this case, when was the last time the plaintiff filed a legal proceeding against you, month and year?
I think it's April of 2020.
Is it for the return of her security?
Yes.
Well, then that's what she's getting. Judgment for the plaintiff, $536. The case is over. Thank you. We're finished.
Judge Judy.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
She is evil. She tried to engage me in fights.
Because she assaulted me.
And she called the police on me 7 times like a freaking Karen.
I was using the washer and dryer, which she claimed wasn't included. And
in retaliation for me asking her to move.
She came over and I did start recording her, and then she hit me and knocked the phone out of my hand.
You know, a lot of people, when they're rejected, they act viciously, and she is that person.
I did get a temporary restraining order, and I moved out.
She is a vicious Karen with no soul.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the Madam Hunter versus Cassell. Step forward.
19-year-old Tyler Hunter is suing his former landlord-to-be, LaTownsend Cassell, for the return of rent and for damage to his property.
Miss Cassell, you were renting a room in your house. The plaintiff came, looked at the room. You both agreed he gave you a deposit. That didn't work out. He wants his deposit back. That's what the case is about. So I have a couple of questions for you. I want you to tell me what kind of premises you live in.
I live in a 2-bedroom townhome.
Do you own or rent?
About 3 months now.
When you rented the apartment from the landlord, did you have a signed lease?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a copy of your lease?
I do not.
Why not?
I just didn't think to bring it.
When you rented the apartment and you signed the lease, did you sign the lease alone?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you advise the landlord that you would be living there alone?
Yes, ma'am.
So your lease precludes you from subletting rooms in the apartment?
I didn't read it, but yes, ma'am.
It does.
Yes. Okay.
Because most leases, when you have a lease, said that you will be the only occupant of the apartment if you're going to be in the apartment by yourself, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And despite that, how did you advertise to rent this room?
On Craigslist.
So you knew you were breaching your lease when you did that. Now, when you advertised on Craigslist, the plaintiff came to look at the room.
Yes, ma'am.
When the plaintiff came to look at your room, someone else was in the room. I want you to tell me the name of the person who was in the room.
Excuse me?
When he saw the room, there was someone else in the room. Who were you?
A boyfriend.
Was he in the room?
No.
Okay. Let's start out with, who was in the apartment other than yourself?
My boyfriend's brother.
What was he doing there?
Spending a week or two.
How much money did he give you?
Nothing.
How much money did you give her?
I gave her $300 month's rent.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about Tyler? Yeah, he gave me $300. He didn't give me $360.
He gave you $300 deposit and $360.
No, $300 for the deposit. He didn't give me $360.
I did give her $360.
Show me.
I have a signed agreement right here.
Stand up. I have questions for you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You gave her the deposit on when?
April 21st.
Well, why would you show me something where you withdrew $350 on April 10th?
Well...
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tyler Hunter says former landlord-to-be, LaTownsend Cassell, owes for the return of rent and for damage to his property.
Now, tell me your last name, please.
Greer.
How old are you?
26.
What do you do?
A distributor at Target.
How long have you and the defendant been an item?
How long have me and him been a who?
How long have you and the defendant? She would be the defendant.
How long have I been with her?
Yes.
Oh, for like going on 2 years now.
Who do you live with?
I live in Commerce, but I come back and forth to go to her house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you're not on the lease either, right?
No, ma'am.
You gave her $660.
Well, this was the signed agreement with her signature where she agreed that I would give her the deposit of $300 and I'll pay $360 per month.
He didn't pay it.
She agrees you gave her $300, but not the $360.
Exactly.
I want to see where you gave her $360.
Well, I also have bank statements showing where I withdrew money to give to her.
Just a second. I'm going to see everything he has. Because so far, despite the fact that it has not helped her at all, she's giving me pretty legitimate answers. All I want you to show me is your bank statement, and you got no receipt from her, I assume.
No, I have the signed agreement.
Which I signed when he gave me a deposit, but he didn't give me nothing to sign because he gave me no $360. And that's why he's not a resident there.
He's not a resident there because you can't have a resident there other than yourself.
Okay.
And you have him. He's a resident, and the landlord should be watching very carefully. Are you still living there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you're breaching the lease. Got a whole bunch of people parading in and out of that premises.
Your Honor, she was actually there when I gave her the 360.
When you brought your stuff, it didn't have 360.
Listen to me. Well, you have a withdrawal. You saw the apartment on what date?
The exact date, I'm not sure of.
Well, think about it carefully.
Okay.
On what date did he see the apartment? Do you remember?
Approximately April 29th, I think. Somewhere around that time. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure.
I gave her my deposit on the 21st.
Well, 21st.
So it would have had to been a little
You
before
gave
that.
her the deposit on when?
The April 21st.
Well, why would you show me something where you withdrew $350 on April 10th?
Well, I mean, I was...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What else do you want?
The money for my mattress, which was ruined because Tylen set it outside.
Oh, good. You want to speak? I'm dying to hear it. Let's go.
Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
All right. Now, $300 you get back. What else do you want?
I want my deposit back. I want my
What
money
else
back,
do you want?
And the money for my mattress, which was ruined because Tylen set it outside.
Oh, good. You want to speak? I'm dying to hear it. Let's go. Did you put out his mattress?
Yes.
On
yes.
what date did you put out his mattress?
I don't know, ma'am. I seriously don't. But I didn't put his mattress out. He called me on the phone and asked me, because she wasn't there, he asked me to help him to get his stuff. He wanted his stuff out since he didn't move. He wasn't even strong enough to get it, so I helped him get it out. I helped him get his refrigerator out and his mattress. It never got ruined, because as soon as I took it out the house, it went onto the back of the truck.
Believe you. Sit down.
Exactly.
Believe you.
He
You
threw
get
it in
back
the
your
grass.
$300. Bye. That's all.
No, he-
Thank
Done.
you. Thank
Miss,
you.
she threw it in the grass.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge Judy.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You were shut down because we had COVID. What are you charging her $3,000 for?
She didn't pay every single month.
Because we had COVID. You get where I'm going?
Judge Judy.
They never showed up on time, consistently lied.
How can I show up? I was at work and I told him that I was at work.
They never returned my calls. They told me dates that weren't true.
That once I get off of work that I will go. Something came up, I left.
They never let me move in that day.
He goes to my house, I gotta go.
I saw him pay her both the deposit and the rent.
That's a lie.
And we never got both back.
Everything he said was a lie.
Just find more trustworthy people, I guess.
Never again. Just never again.
The COVID pandemic caused a lot of things to happen.
Gloom at her cheerleader's school.
You were shut down and you stopped paying rent because we had COVID.
But this mom
What are you charging her $3,000 for?
won't fall for her stunt.
She didn't pay every single month.
And you stopped paying rent in March because we had COVID. You get where I'm going?
This is Judge Judy. Trisha Bryant is suing Johanna Ramos for unpaid cheerleading competition expenses.
Judge, this is case number 44 on the calendar in the matter of Bryant versus Ramos. Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Bird.
You're welcome, Judge.
Miss Bryant, you run a program for young kids, a cheerleading program.
Correct.
And you've been
Competitive.
doing that for a long time. It's your claim that the defendant owes you the balance of fees for her 2 daughters. And those fees accrued after COVID struck, and the complaint states, and I'm reading it, she paid in full for the 18-19 season without issue. So I trusted her. For the 19-20 season, she paid her last payment in February of 2020 and then stopped. That's your sworn statement.
Correct.
So one of her children was in your program in the 18-19 year, and she was fully paid. You were
She
fully
had
paid.
a rolling balance of $955 for...
That's not what you said in your complaint, madam. Should have been more careful when you read it and signed it. You said she stopped paying you in February. That is after COVID struck, February of 2020. That's what you state in your sworn complaint.
That was her last payment.
Now, this is the issue. The issue is, does she owe the money? She had a signed contract with you.
Right.
So I have a few questions for you. I want you to explain to me how these competitive classes work. First, I would assume you teach the youngsters, and she has young children, the 2 that were in your program. First, there are lessons, and those are taught in person, historically. Is that correct?
Correct.
And are they taught by you or you and a staff?
We have staff members. We have choreographers come in. We have coaches come in.
Okay, and is this in a studio?
Mm-hmm. It's a gym.
Do you own the gym or rent the gym?
I own the gym. I don't own the property, but I own the tumble shop.
Whom?
Pacific Coast Commercial.
And what's your rent?
$3,500 a month.
When was the last time you used the facility?
March 17th, 2020.
When was the last time you paid rent?
March 1st, 2020. I was closed down due to COVID.
I just asked you when was the last time you paid rent?
It was March 1st.
And you stopped paying rent in March to Pacific Coast, is that right?
Correct.
That would be a yes. And when was your lease up?
My lease was actually up in December 2019.
So you were a month-to-month tenant?
For the time being, we had an agreement with Pacific Coast. We were going to relocate to another city due to the area, what it has become. I didn't feel it was safe for children. I was going to rent another facility.
So you stopped paying rent on the facility where you had been holding classes on March 1st, and you did not relocate anywhere.
March 1st was, we were covered through April 1st, and in April 1st, we were going to move to a new facility. But due to COVID, we haven't moved yet.
Did you pay rent in March?
Yes.
From Pacific? That's an easy thing for me to find out from Pacific. You did?
Yes, I did.
Paid $3,500 in March?
Correct.
In April, you did not pay them rent, and you were going to move to another facility.
Correct.
My question to you is, did you move to another facility?
No, because I wasn't able to open with the...
I don't care,
no.
because April, there was an impossibility for you to perform, just so that you understand, for all the children in your program.
We were holding
the
Zoom
function
classes.
that you were retained to do, which was to have choreographers in a gym at classes. So let's be clear. Because of COVID, you stopped paying rent and stopped having a facility where classes could take place, and you had your classes on Zoom.
Correct.
For the children.
Correct.
Now, after you have the classes for the children, are there competitions?
All the competitions were canceled.
No, that's not my question to you. Historically, when someone signs up over 35 years that you've been running your school, have there been competitions with other cheerleading schools? Oh, yes. And in what months are those cheerleading competitions usually held?
November to the end of April.
And, of course, there were no competitions held in March or April.
We attended one the
Correct.
first week of March.
And after that, the rest of them were canceled.
Correct.
You get where I'm going? The defendant made her last payment to you in February. That's what you say in your complaint. That accurate?
Correct. January 29th.
Right. Can you tell me, Ms. Ramos, why your last payment was
due to COVID?
In February?
I gave her the last payment in February.
Oh, can you show me that the last payment was in February, please?
No, all my payments were made in cash.
Okay. Do you have a receipt?
I don't.
Did your daughters attend any programs in February before everything was shut down?
Yes.
Do you remember how many weeks in February they attended classes?
They did February. Sometimes the classes were canceled.
Okay, but they did attend, and according to you, you paid her in cash in February.
Yes.
Was she always paid in cash?
Yes.
How much cash was she paid every month?
From May to October, I gave her $300 a month cash. To November and December, I did $200 cash also. January and February, I did $260 in cash for each month, and it was all in cash.
Last year, when your older daughter attended the program, did you also pay her in cash?
Yes.
Do all of your students pay you in cash?
No, ma'am.
But Miss Ramos paid you in cash.
I have credit card receipts that the cards were denied, and so I would ask her to bring cash or check or money order.
I'm just asking you if you were paid in cash.
Yes, Miss Ramos.
The answer is from her, yes. Other people paid in either credit card or a check.
Automatic or
but she paid in cash, and you payment according to you for the first year. That's according to your sworn statement for the 18-19 year. Okay, Miss Bryant, you do understand that the ravages to business of the COVID pandemic caused a lot of things to happen, including to you, including to Pacific, your landlord, right?
Right.
Because you were shut down and you stopped paying rent. That's what actually happened. And you had a program that provided for in-person lessons, choreographers according to you, gymnasts according to you, in a program for little girls, and then there were a series of competitions which were all part of the program. In-person competitions. That no longer existed, just like your rent to Pacific no longer existed because of COVID.
Correct.
So since you couldn't perform the service that was contracted for by providing in-person lessons with choreographers, according to you,
but
with
she wasn't
gymnasts,
billed for...
and the competitions that didn't take place.
She wasn't billed for those competitions nor the tuition for those months. The competitions we didn't attend, she wasn't charged.
Well, what are you charging her $3,000 for? According to you, she was paid up, made her last payment in February 2020. That's according...
I have a statement
I'm just telling you...
she gets emailed every month.
No, listen to me. Your complaint, which she got served with, said she made her last payment in February and she was current for her 18-19 year. She stopped paying in February.
She didn't pay every single month. That was the problem. I have text messages from her that I was supposed to meet her, and she didn't show up.
Well, do you want to tell me what months are you alleging she didn't pay for, month and year?
December. Her payment was January 29th, and then the last one was May 30th.
No,
September 8th.
I'm talking about 2020. You're stuck with 18-19.
Oh, sorry, I'm writing it backwards.
I'm talking about 2020. Your statement is clear. She was up to date. Let's go.
December 7th was her last payment until March 5th. That was her last payment.
March 5th of 2020?
2020 was $200 made via Venmo.
Okay, so in March she made a payment of $200. In February, did she make a payment?
No, her last payment before that was December 7th of $200 in cash. Before that was October, $200 in cash.
Okay, just a second. So your daughters did attend in January and February.
Yes.
But did not attend in March because it was closed. So I'm attributing the March payment to February. So did you or did you not make a payment in January?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you have any proof that you did not make a
payment? Email statement every month, and I have the log that gets out by Jackrabbit that states when.
All I want, I just want to see January.
She gets this. I'm giving you January right here. The green are
All
her
I'm
payments.
interested in is January. Just a second. She made
payment. Here's January
December.
Right here. There's December.
Listen to me. You're not following me. I'm considering the month of January only. According to you, she made a payment in March 5th, and your school was no longer in existence in March.
Oh, we practiced until March 17th.
Well, it wasn't in existence in March. And the kids didn't get what they bargained for anyway because they were supposed to have competitions through April. I'm asking you about January. Show me January 2020.
January's right here. She was charged $150 for her monthly tuition. There was no payment made. The last payment was December 7th.
Okay. Just 1 second. She was charged $150 in January and did not make a payment. I see January, transaction fee, transaction payment. So transaction fee was $150, empty transaction payment, which she did not pay in January. Where do you have February? Show me her February payment.
February is tuition, her merchandise.
So she just a second. So
March is right here.
March 5th, she paid $200. Okay, and in February, her tuition fee was $150.
Correct.
Okay, and the girls did attend in January, correct?
Yes.
Anything else?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
let me finish. I'm a handyman. I can explain you better. I know you do your job. You're a judge. I'm a handyman. I'm the pro here. So we fill the gap.
I have more doors than you have years, Mr. Singh.
Of course you.
That is not the way you install a door.
Trisha Bryant says Johanna Ramos owes for her daughter's cheerleading competition expenses.
You don't owe her anything for 2020 when your girls did not attend the program. She signed a complaint indicating that you were up to date, but you made your last payment in February. You did not actually make a payment in February. You made it in March. But in March, the program became defunct.
Yes.
So I'm ascribing the March payment that you made to February, which means you still owe her the January payment of $150. We're done. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I mean, there was a lot of...
But we did compete November, December. We did 6 competitions from November until February.
We're still paying for them, so...
Online classes were done after March.
I would not do that. They need someone in person.
I'm working with about half of them still.
Yeah, I will find another one.
All parties in the matter of Olivetti versus Singh. Step to the podium, please.
Grace Olivetti is suing handyman Harpinder Singh for the cost of 2 doors, plus installation and removal costs. Harpinder is countersuing for unpaid labor.
Mr. Singh, I'm going to start with you, sir.
Thanks.
Miss Olivetti hired you to do work in her house. She hired you to replace 2 doors and to adjust 2 others. You didn't go yourself to do the job. You sent somebody else. Who did you send?
It's my team member, Sunny, and it's 2 times he went there, and 3rd time I will go.
All right, she hired you, you sent somebody else. You came and looked at the doors after your handyman, the other person that you work with, put them in. You realized that it was very poorly done. Would that be fair to say, Mr. Singh? It was poorly done.
Yes, but I fix it.
Well, show me what it looked like after you fixed it.
Yes. So... after we installed on March 5th, so she complained that...
Mr. Singh, just show...
When you fix it.
That's not fixed.
Fix.
You mean you put that strip in the door that's not flush?
I fill the caulking...
From one side...
Let me finish. I'm a handyman. I can explain you better. I know you do your job. You're a judge. I'm a handyman. I'm the pro here. So we fill the gap.
I have more doors than you have years, Mr. Singh.
Of course you...
That is not the way you install a door.
Okay. So when I went there, she complained to me. I said, okay, I'll come personally and fix it. Because in the first stage, she keeps saying me that door is ruined. You just buy the new door and replace with it. I say, ma'am, just give me one chance to come, have a look, and fix it. If after fixing, if you don't like it, I will replace for you.
You went, and that's what you did.
Okay,
Isn't that's what you told me the door looks like after you went there and fixed it?
But after fill the caulkings and fillers, so I asked, ma'am, I fill the cracks. Well, I can do a free painting for you to the doors. She said, no. I always respect my customer. I say, okay, if you don't want, I'm not charging you anything right now. I will buy a new door for you and bring it for you. And if you don't paintings, no worries. I bought the doors for her. And then we have an agreement. This is the agreement we have it. On March 9th, by the text message. So I will reimburse for the door and she will not do any online review or any legal actions. I bought the door for her on April. She said, can you please send me the receipt, invoice, so I can follow through directly with the Home Depot, because I bought the door from the Home Depot. Doors were expensive. $600 for a small businessman is very expensive, but still bought it because I want to make my customer happy.
Mr. Singh, if you don't stop talking, I'm just going to say goodbye to you.
All right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He put in the new doors, and we're 7 months later, and you're using the doors that he put in.
Yes.
Do you have an estimate from another contractor to install new doors?
I have what?
That's either a yes or a no.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Grace Olivetti says handyman Harpinder Singh damaged her home while attempting to replace 2 doors.
Now, you returned the doors that you bought for her,
yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yes. That's all I want to know. You returned the new doors that you bought for her because you had made a mess, don't speak, because you had made a mess out of the first job that you did, but you returned those doors. What she's suing you for now are the cost of the doors, which she got rid of and had to replace.
$436 for both of them.
For both?
Yes.
And how much money did you pay to Mr. Singh?
Per our agreement, I did not pay anything to him yet because they were not satisfactorily
just a second. Forget that. Forget his counterclaim. He did a terrible job, and the 2 doors that he put in had to be replaced. He acknowledged that they had to be replaced because he went and bought 2 new doors because of what his assistant did with those doors. But why are you suing him for $1,467 when it cost you $436 for new doors, and then I assume you had to have somebody else install them?
Well, I still have the doors that he put up, the ones that were ruined, okay, because the agreement was that he was going to purchase 2 new doors from Home Depot, which he did, and I have his receipt that he sent me.
Yeah, but then he returned them. Miss Olivetti.
Exactly. So I still have the damaged doors. I have not purchased new ones yet, pending this.
Just a second, Miss. Just a second. He put in the new doors
and repaired 2 doors.
We're now in October.
Yeah.
March, April, May, June, July, August, September. We're 7 months later. Do you have an estimate from another contractor to install new doors?
I have what?
That's either a yes or a no.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, do you have an estimate from another contractor to install new doors?
I have what?
That's either a yes or a no.
Not from another contractor, no.
Well, who is going to install the doors for you if not another contractor?
Home Depot.
I tell you what we do. I am entering a provisional judgment for the plaintiff, Mr. Singh, in the amount of $436. When she can produce proof that she has purchased new doors to replace the ones that have now been hanging for 7 months and evidently doing the job.
Yeah, but they look awful.
You didn't pay for them. They look awful. When you buy new doors, you get $436. Thank you very much. We're finished here. Goodbye.
I have a counter sue for here because I am not finished because a door was not returned.
You did an awful
I bought the doors.
Job.
Let me finish it,
Goodbye.
please. Well, give me 2 minutes.
Goodbye.
And on the next Judge Judy.
When he got incarcerated, I tried to tell him that I didn't really want to be involved with his criminal actions.
Was that the first time you've been incarcerated?
No, I've been incarcerated before.
Next Judge Judy.
1-star review on Home Advisor that did a terrible job.
The day that they installed the doors, it was just...
We have an agreement. I will buy the door for you and deliver to you, but you will not do going any online review.
My heart just went down and was like, oh, no, please.
I said, okay, no worries. I'm happy with you. Still, you have chance to update the review and I deliver the doors at your door.
The review does stand...
She never update the review until today. She updated the review. I bring the door for her.
Yeah, go with a contractor.
It's the $2,000 question.
What did you do with that money?
Took it to his bank like he instructed me to.
There were no deposits to the bank.
His assistant is afraid of the answer.
When he got incarcerated, I tried to tell him that I didn't really want to be involved with his criminal actions because I wasn't trying to be an accessory or anything.
No, I've been incarcerated before.
This is Judge Judy. Thomas Brooks is suing his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, for stealing money from him while he was incarcerated and for filing a false restraining order.
Yeah, this is case number 24 on the calendar in the matter of Brooks versus Harrell. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Mr. Brooks, it is your claim that the defendant who was in your employ somehow scammed you or embezzled you out of money.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant said that he was working for you. He has a counterclaim. He says that you owe him money for wages. I got a few questions. You hired him according to what I've read in your complaint, as an assistant to someone who has some sort of handicap condition. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your handicap condition?
I was bedbound at the time I met Mr. Harold in 2017.
No, just a second. Let's go slowly. You were bedbound.
Yes, ma'am.
In what year?
2017.
Why were you bedbound?
Because I was 525 pounds in a room and board facility.
Was the state awarding you any money, any funds for an assistant?
Negative. No. I have my own money.
From what?
I've had money that I've been saving up, and while I was incarcerated, I had money saved up. And years of Social Security that accumulated, plus I have money saved in Social Security back pay.
Okay, let's go slowly, Mr. Brooks.
Yes, ma'am.
From many years of Social Security. Now,
And
you don't look like you're old enough to collect Social Security, so you were on Social Security disability.
Yes, ma'am.
Starting when?
I've been on it for approximately 22 years.
And how old are you, sir?
I'm 58 of years.
According to what I read in both the complaint and the answer, you were incarcerated.
Yes, I was.
From when to when? This last time?
February 8th of 2018, I was arrested. I was released on the 15th of December of 2018.
So you were incarcerated for approximately a year?
Approximately a year, 10 months, ma'am.
Was that the first time you've been incarcerated?
No, I've been incarcerated before.
This last time that you were incarcerated, sir, what facility were you at?
Robert Presley Detention Center, Riverside County Sheriff's Department.
Were you in the hospital wing?
Yes, 7th floor medical, in my own cell.
During the time that you were there, you were on a medical unit for the entire 10 months.
Yes, ma'am. I always am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you there pre-trial or post-conviction?
I was there from the date of arrest to the date of sentence to the date of my release.
So that you were sentenced?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were convicted?
Yes, ma'am. Passing phone calls and a threat and violation of a restraining order.
Was that the first time you were arrested on this restraining order?
Yes.
Immediately prior to this incarceration, when was the immediate time that you were arrested and incarcerated prior to this arrest in February of 2018?
2008, I was arrested at state prison. I went to state prison, released in 2015. I was released on AB 109 due to my medical condition. They placed me in a room board where I was living at the time. I'm Mr. Harold.
Now, I'm going to give you, sir, unless I'm really interested in this, I would like you to tell me, in as short a period of time as possible, what money you think he took from you and how.
I submitted all the proof to you in your records, the copies of the accounts, the checks that he went and picked up from the bank under my name. He also collected 2 court judgments, 2 payments from the Superior Court of Riverside in the amount of $500 and $1,500.
$1,000. They're both
$1,500 payment.
Just a second. Don't interrupt him.
$1,500 payment was one. $500 payment was the second. That money was never provided to me either.
What money was that for, this $500 and $1,500?
I filed a small claim action against my former landlord, but it was reduced to $2,000. I was in jail. Mr. Harold went to the court. The harassing call, the threat, and the violation
No. Oh, was that against your landlord?
Negative, ma'am. That was a small claims action I filed prior to being arrested against my landlord for violating numerous code violations. I sued her in court. I won the judgment, but I was in jail at the second trial de novo, which she obtained illegally. Mr. Harold went to the court, even though I filed a motion to the court that he did not want to go pick it up. On March 1st and April 2nd, he went to the court, picked up 2
Who filed the motion for you? Who filed the motion?
It was done while I was out of custody. Before I got arrested, I filed
Who filed
I did, ma'am.
Personally, not with a lawyer.
No,
you personally did.
No lawyers are allowed, no.
What was the name of your landlord?
Wilma.
And what was the name of the victim in the case that the state had against you for violation of a protective order?
That was a person named Sheila.
She was never a landlady of yours?
Negative. This was somebody that I had legal action against that works at the court that filed charges against me for violating and harassing.
Oh, no, just a second. This was another person that you filed a small claims court action.
Sheila does not matter. I filed a small claims action prior to being
arrested. I understand. Mm-hmm. What I'm asking you is, I asked you the name of the victim
in
the protective order.
There's 2.
You said her name was Sheila. Sheila, was a person that you had a business dealing with, a landlord, but not a social friend?
Negative.
She's a court reporter, ma'am, that he was suing because she didn't get him documents in time to appeal his eviction from the house with Castellanos.
So Sheila,
court reporter,
made an application for an order of protection because you were threatening or harassing her.
I was suing her.
That was granted.
Correct.
Just a second. That was granted. And then you were incarcerated for almost a year for violating that order of protection.
Well, along with other charges.
Just getting...
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. But the landlady against whom you were successful in getting a judgment for $2,000 was the subject of that case where Sheila allegedly didn't get the minutes in time so that you could appeal. Am I getting that right?
No, that was a separate case, Your Honor. This was his illegal detainer case. Yeah, the legal detainer case is the case that she was the court reporter for, and because she's the free clinic...
The transcript.
Yes, he couldn't appeal his case, therefore he was evicted.
When I was evicted, I took legal action against me.
And the person who evicted him was the person against whom he got this $2,000 judgment?
Correct.
Or was that another eviction?
That was the only eviction that I was involved in.
That was the only one?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you were working for him. Did you have an hourly wage, or did you do just...
It was just like a per job? A per task, right. Per task, I would get paid approximately $200 to $300 per task, whether it was filing paperwork for him or actually appearing on his behalf in court. Those were always like $300 to cover for the time and the travel.
How many times did you appear in court for him?
I lost track. Over approximately half to a dozen times. Most of the time it was just small claims. When he got incarcerated, that's when I tried to tell him that I didn't really want to be involved with his criminal actions because I wasn't trying to be an accessory or anything else like that. So that's where we're at.
Now, did you get from the court $2,000,
Correct.
$500,
$1,000.
$1,500?
There's $1,000 payments in 2 installments.
$1,500 and one for $500.
Your Honor, I received the checks, and I was there at the hearing when they issued the amounts for the check.
And they were
$1,000 each.
$2,000.
Correct.
Now, on what date did you get those two?
Yes, March 1st, I believe.
3/1 of this year?
Of 19?
18.
18.
Don't ask him.
I don't remember, Your
Don't
Honor.
ask.
So 18. March 1st.
Was he incarcerated at the time?
Yes, he was.
So it had to be March of 18.
Yes.
So that's $1,000.
Correct.
And when was the second check that you got?
April 2nd.
Of 18.
Correct.
What did you do with that money?
I took it to his bank. I took the checks to his bank like he instructed me to. That's all I ever did when he had money that he needed deposited was I took it to the bank and they handle it.
And you made a deposit in his name?
I just gave it to the clerk. I don't physically do any deposits. I just give them. He already arranges it.
Well, you have to. You can't just hand them. Just a second.
Go ahead.
You can't just walk into a bank and hand them a check. There are little cubby holes.
Yeah.
You take out a slip.
I understand.
Or you have a slip already prepared.
He had
and
the
you
bank
hand
do that.
and they make a deposit. What?
He had the bank do that prior to my arrival. They handled all that stuff for him.
What's the name of the bank that handled this stuff for
Well,
him?
it's no longer in business because he sued them, and I guess they folded up shop. That's the best that I can determine.
What bank? What is the name of the bank?
I don't know the name. It's out
What
of
was the
business.
name of your bank, sir?
My bank was First National Bank of Southern California, ma'am.
And he sued them
Did you sue them? Did you have a lawyer?
No, ma'am.
Did you sue them over this money?
I sued the tellers, but the thing is, there was no deposits made to my account at all.
Mr. Brooks.
Yes, ma'am.
In what year did you sue the bank?
It's still ongoing, ma'am. They're getting an attorney.
It's ongoing?
Yes, ma'am. See, they tried to get restraining orders
And
against
that,
me.
just a second, that case against the bank is still ongoing.
It's not
Is
against
that
the
what you
bank,
just
ma'am.
said to
It's
me?
against the bank employees, a couple of bank employees that were violating the credit union or policies. But they're trying to get a restraining order to this day. It's still ongoing on that.
Did it have anything to do with these
Negative.
deposits?
No, nothing at all, ma'am. There were no deposits to the bank.
I don't know that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
As of September 2019, which is after you were released, he's still asking you for payment.
I don't owe him no money. I have proof.
I didn't ask you whether you were owing him
Okay.
anything, sir.
Thomas Brooks says His former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, stole settlement money from him while he was in jail. Guy is countersuing for unpaid wages.
Now, Mr. Brooks, how many lawsuits have you filed within the last 3 years?
Total of 5. Yes, ma'am.
In the last 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
In the last 8 years, how many lawsuits have you filed?
I can't even answer that, to be honest with you. I've had different types of suits.
Shh. I'm just asking you, in the last 8 years.
I can't tell you.
You just told me in the last 3, one of which you were incarcerated. So in 2 years, you filed 5 lawsuits. Prior to being incarcerated, for the immediate 5 years before you were incarcerated, how many lawsuits did you file?
I can't tell you that, honestly. I could say probably in the last 5 years, 4 years since I've been out of custody, maybe 5 or 6, to be honest with you. I can't really remember. I don't keep track of that.
I said prior to you going to jail.
Probably 4 to 5, ma'am. I don't have the exact amount.
Mr. Harrell, you started to do work for him in 2017?
Correct, January.
Prior to that, do you know how many lawsuits Mr. Brooks had filed?
No clue whatsoever. I didn't even know anything about his legal issues until 2018 when he...
Well, I'd like to know how you met him.
I worked for a cab company known as AA and then Empire Cab, which they're still in business, but they mostly do non-emergency medical transport now. I got a random call from a customer, which was turned out to be Mr. Brooks. I want to say it was approximately around the 10th of January. About him, I learned a lot in the years while taking him from other drivers. But his first call was come to his house. He handed me his debit card.
Okay, I got it. That's how you became involved with him.
Correct.
Now, how many times did you make deposits in his account?
Less than half a dozen.
And he got out of jail in December of 2019.
18, ma'am.
2018. When, for the first time, did Mr. Brooks accuse you of taking money
Never.
from him?
Never. Not until he tried to serve me, I guess, in March, but I never looked at the paperwork.
March of 2020?
I believe so.
March of 2020. Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
You got out of jail almost 2 years ago. When, for the first time, did you ask Mr. Harrell for an accounting of any of this money?
I've always...
Never.
Can he answer? He has never given me a receipt. I've asked for an accounting numerous times. I've also requested the county of Riverside to get an accounting. He will not give receipts for nothing to nobody. He tells people what they need. I give him my debit card for whatever service he asks for. And he swipes the card, and he puts in my PIN and my code.
All right. Mr. Brooks, when you got out of jail in December of 2018, did you...
Oh, he wouldn't even pick me up from the jail to take me back to my room and board.
So is what you're telling me you have not seen Mr. Harrell from the time you went to jail until today?
No, I did not say that. I said I've not used the service. I have called him numerous times. He hangs up on me or tries to block my number. So I have asked him numerous times for receipts or accounting and the money.
No, I'm not asking you receipt or accounting, Mr. Brooks. I'm not asking you receipt or accounting. What I'm asking you is whether Mr. Harrell has done any work for you, any of these small jobs,
Negative.
Since you got out of jail.
Nothing. He refuses.
Is that correct, Mr. Harrell?
That's absolutely incorrect.
Well, when was the last time you did a job for Mr. Brooks?
The last correspondence officially that I have with him, where I'm actually still doing stuff for him, which was basically just doing either court documents, like affidavits for him, or actually showing up in court. The last refusal that I have...
show me.
Okay. The last refusal that I have for him in an email...
All I want you to do is show me some evidence, Mr. Harrell, that Mr. Brooks, who is clearly litigious, has used your services since he's out of jail.
As of September 16, 2019, he's still trying to get me to do services for him when I emphatically tell him. You know, he keeps sending me documents. Okay.
Just see it.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You don't say anywhere that he owes you money.
He does owe me the money he stole from the court judgment and the bank.
I suggest, Mr. Brooks, you find something else to do other than sue people.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Thomas Brooks has accused his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, of stealing money from him while he was locked up.
Okay, go ahead.
He keeps wanting me to work on his behalf. And I
Wanting
told him,
to.
Stop. I've already told you to contact me with payment, and then we'll continue to do business after that. But he couldn't get it in his head.
Wanting him to do work is one thing. Doing it is another.
I appeared at least 2 or 3 cases between the time of him being incarcerated and the time that I told him that I'm refusing to do work for lack of payment. And he just continues to send me...
Just a second.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Now, that's September 16th, Your Honor. I have another one from the 23rd. Okay.
I want you to be quiet. I'm reading.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
Mr. Harrell wrote to you on September the 16th of 2019. Am I reading this right?
Correct.
I've asked you repeatedly, contact me by mail with a check, nothing else.
I keep thinking I owe him $4,500, and I don't owe him nothing. He's made a declaration to the court, and I have the statement showing he's been paid in full. I have his PayPal account screenshot and all the copies of the checks.
So as of at least that date, the 19th, he has something else to show me. As of September 2019, which is after you were released, he's still asking you for payment. He's asking you for a check.
I don't owe him no money. I have proof.
I didn't ask you whether you were owing him anything, sir.
He's asking for money.
I said he was still asking you for a check.
Yes.
Okay, let me see the next time, Mr. Harrell.
This is the emphatic denial from him on September 23rd, where he just listed all the threats and demands for, for me if I was going to come after him.
You mean that was for your request to him for money?
Just and for him to stop contacting me. And he sent me this long email about all the factors of which he wasn't going to pay me.
Well, Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
This communication from you doesn't say anything about him owing you any money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com on Twitter.
Okay, now, you're talking in this letter about his claim that you owe him money. You don't say anywhere that he owes you money.
He does owe me the money he stole from the court judgment and the bank. I have the copies of them. I'd like to submit my proof, please.
We're done. We're done. Mr. Harrell,
yes, Your Honor.
I would suggest you not do any more work for him. Do you understand?
I haven't, Your Honor.
Okay, good. And you haven't, according to this, in 2 years, right?
Approximately
you
since
told him to leave you
June
alone.
of 2019,
right.
Correct.
So in 2 years, yeah.
Can I show my exhibit,
I suggest,
please?
Mr. Brooks, you find something else to do other than sue people. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
That's fine, no problem.
The counterclaim, Your Honor?
Gone.
Counterclaim?
Gone.
So I'm not going to get paid?
I just answered you.
Okay, all right.
It's 2 years old. That's correct. Goodbye, both of you. We're done.
This case is concluded. Let's step out.
And on the next Judge Judy.
I just completely walked into the window with trash in my hand and fell back.
He was intoxicated.
You saw him fall.
I did, and he called his mom right away. She told him to sue them. That I heard.
Judge Judy.
He's going to continue on this. He's not going to stop.
No, I'm not. I see what I got coming.
One of his lawyers told me when I first got involved with his criminal cases, I should run from this guy, not walk.
I had harassing phone
is key. I mean, I got thousands, tens of thousands of dollars from working from this guy.
And he takes $4,000 out of my account when I'm in jail. What else am I supposed to do? Sue.
You didn't see that the window was open.
A renter's unlucky run-in?
I just completely walked into the window with trash in my hand and fell back.
And you think that that's Mr. McIntyre's fault.
I'm not a clumsy guy.
Now the cleaning lady comes clean.
He jumped the fence because he was intoxicated.
You saw him fall.
I did, and he called his mom right away. And then she told him to sue them. That I heard.
This is Judge Judy. Maurice Barnes is suing bed and breakfast owner Edward McIntyre for lost wages and pain and suffering resulting from an accident that occurred on his premises.
Judge, this is case number 112 on the calendar in the matter of Barnes versus McIntyre. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. McIntyre, how long have you run a bed and breakfast?
2 years, ma'am, Your Honor.
Did you own the house before you started to run the bed and breakfast, or did you buy it as a bed and breakfast?
We bought it as a bed and breakfast. It was that way for 35 years.
So you bought it as a running business?
Correct.
Barnes, you were a guest in the McIntyre's bed and breakfast, and at some point during your stay, you were injured. You claim you were injured as a result of their negligence. You want them to be responsible for that. Mr. McIntyre and his wife say you are responsible for your own injury, not exactly sure why. It's possible that you were drunk at the time. And they have a counterclaim. A counterclaim is that you defamed them in your review of their property, and as a result of that defamation, they lost business. That's your counterclaim. So, Mr. Barnes, why don't you tell me what you were doing renting a bed and breakfast facility?
So I was renting a hotel before I had the bed and breakfast because originally I had a house fire, and that's how this all started, where I was renting a hotel during COVID time. So I figured the bed and breakfast would be
Now,
safe.
look at me. Look at me. When did you have a house fire?
This was October 26, 2019.
Were you renting a room in that house, or did you own that house?
I own the house. I live
Where
in the
is it
house
located?
now. It's in La Costa, Carlsbad, California.
Is what I'm understanding that you were renting other accommodations while your house was being fixed?
Yes.
As a result of the fire?
Yes.
From there, did you move into the bed and breakfast obligation?
We were going week to week.
And how much a week?
Okay, it was $70 a night, and then I had to pay for breakfast. It would come out to roughly $490 a week.
What date did you move out?
It was around June.
June, not around.
2nd. June 2nd.
On what date did you have your accident at the house?
May 25th.
On what day did either you tell the defendant or the defendant tell you that you were not remaining?
I called on June 1st. At 4:05, I asked Ed if I could stay another week because my ribs were hurting, and I asked him to stay another week.
Just a second.
Yes?
Just a second. Did he call you on June 1st?
No, Your Honor.
So you received no call from him on June 1st?
No, he was to check out on the 29th, and he didn't check out until June the 2nd, Your Honor. He was asking to extend his stay, and I said no. There was too many complaints. I'd lost too much revenue. There was too much damage. The staff was upset, and all were the guests. Many guests left early.
Just a second. So you said he cannot extend his stay. Does that sound right to you, sir?
Yes.
So, Mr. Barnes, I want you to listen to me. I'm in business. My business is renting rooms in my house. I have a tenant who's no problem, pays their rent on time, and I'm going to lose revenue for at least a week before I have another paying customer. So I say to myself, what could it be that a businessman, because he's a businessman, why would he not accept a request for a paying tenant to stay in their room?
Maybe because I was hurt on his property. I would think that maybe that's the reason, because you're asking a very good question, Judge Judy.
Mr. Barnes,
you're asking a very good question.
Mr. Barnes, they don't keep me here because I don't ask good questions. They keep me here because I ask good questions. Here's my next question to you. After the accident happened on May 25th, did you contact a lawyer?
I did. I will say it's a family friend. My mom. It's from our synagogue.
I don't give a rat's behind whether he lives in your house or he's your mother's boyfriend or he's from the same synagogue. You contacted a lawyer.
Yes.
And you discussed with the lawyer this incident.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
With a view towards having this lawyer represent you in this lawsuit.
Yes.
Yes, of course. Did the lawyer take the case?
No.
Okay, good. Now, I want you to tell me about May 25th.
That's the night picture of where I was walking.
Would you look up at me?
Sorry. I have all these papers down here. I'm very sorry, Judge Judy.
Tell me the time of the incident.
It's 7:30 p.m.
And you live in California.
I live in California.
And 7:30 p.m. in May, it's sort of getting to be dusk.
Yes.
Right. And had you done any deliveries that day?
Yes.
And then you're going to tell me for whom and what time?
That day I was doing DoorDash, so it was just around La Jolla.
What time?
Maybe 2:30 p.m. till around 5 p.m.
Okay, so you got home at 5 p.m. And what did you do?
This is the night I watched TV. I had the TV on.
Could you look at me?
Yes.
Don't look down.
Sorry. And...
No, that day.
Yeah, that day. And then I'm cleaning. And I'm taking the trash out. That was the whole 2 hours of me being there.
So you came home.
What else was I really doing?
You came home, you had dinner.
Yeah.
and watch a little TV, and then you were taking out the trash.
Yes.
And that was at 7:30. So tell me what happened. Look up at me and
Yes.
tell me what happened.
Okay, so it's dark. This is exactly what happened. I'm walking out. There's 3 steps to get downstairs. I'm walking downstairs. You make a right. As soon as you make a right, there's a window. And that's where I walked. I didn't see the window. The window's open. I walked into the window and hit the window, just completely walked into the back. And it's my rib that was injured, apparently. I immediately knew something was wrong. Like, I knew something was like, I'm like sitting there, like on my back, like, you know. And at first I didn't really know what it was, like, honestly. I just knew that my whole side was hurting, so.
Your ribs hurt.
Yeah.
And the window that was open, had that been a newly installed window?
I don't know.
And from April 29th until May 25th, how often did you empty your trash?
Every day I would do it. So, I mean.
And when you emptied your trash every day, did you take the same route?
Yes. I would wade my way through plants.
Yeah, just a second.
Yep.
Just a second. Now, I assume that you took out your trash at the end of your day after you had dinner. You didn't want to leave your food or whatever because you said you had dinner. That's what you usually do. You come home, you have dinner, right? And then you take out the trash.
Yes.
So that every day for a minimum of 26 or 27 days, you took the same path to do the same trash run, and they didn't put in a new window.
No.
So this time, you didn't see that the window was open. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you think that...
Just by looking at this picture, and then I want you to tell me if you can get through it. And if you can,
Just
then,
a second.
then
I
you're
don't
right.
have to tell you what I thought. I'll tell you what I think in about 4 minutes.
Absolutely.
But right now you can show me the picture.
Okay.
Right now you can show me the picture.
I've been dying to use this thing.
Yeah, I got it.
I also have a text that was
Now,
yeah.
I got it. Same path that you used every day, and you walked into a window. Now, I actually see that there are several open windows.
Yeah,
There's
there's
the one
open
that's
windows
closest,
and there's
and then
plants
there's
here,
another.
big
Sir,
potted plants.
Sir, did the plants, were they given some sort of a super duper miracle grow that they grew overnight from May 24th to May 25th when you emptied the garbage?
No.
I mean, did they become Godzilla plants overnight?
No.
It was the same route that you took for 27 days to empty your trash.
Yeah.
This time a window was open. Now, my question to you is, does the defendant control that window, or was that another resident's window?
It's another resident's window that's next to me, and it wasn't the first time that I've hit the window. So just saying.
Oh, so you knew about, just a
I've
second.
known about these
so you knew
windows,
that the
yeah.
window was sometimes open.
Yeah,
Just
yes.
a second.
I see
and
the
at
windows, yeah.
7:30 at night, you're careful. You be careful.
Right.
Why is that the defendant's fault?
There's no light. If you just, I wish somebody was there. I mean, I'm not a clumsy guy. There's no light in this like little alleyway. You have this tiny little way to walk through. I mean, if you could just you could see it. You could see where the plant is, and that's my designated area. For what I don't. Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to talk about your counterclaim. Go.
Sure, Your Honor.
What?
I hired him.
What are you complaining about?
I hired him for $1,700 a month. He was supposed to do social media and build us up, and he said he was going to have it rain guests and that he was going to fill the place up. And when he left, he wrote a scathing review calling me unethical, immoral. He said it was the worst place he'd ever stayed in his life, that he'd give me a 0 if he could, but the lowest he could give me was a 1. Then he had his sister write a letter, another scathing review. She didn't even stay there. He had his father write me a scathing review, didn't even stay there. I had to sell the place because we were losing money regularly, and I took a $500,000 loss, Your Honor, on that property. Not that it was all his fault, his COVID contributed to it, but he certainly contributed it to as well, because he did the exact opposite of what he told me. He said he was going to bring in clients, but in actuality, he defamed me, Your Honor.
Mr. McIntyre, Mr. Barnes is entitled to write a negative review about you. If, however, his relatives who never stayed with you wrote a negative review, of course, that they can't do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He defecated in the alleyway, and I explained to him that the alleyway was only for service.
Mr. McIntyre, who saw him defecate in a public area?
My star witness, Your Honor.
I'd like to hear from that witness.
Maurice Barnes says he He was staying at Edward McIntyre's bed and breakfast when he hit his head walking into an open window. Edward is countersuing for destruction of property, defamation, and loss of revenue.
If, however, his relatives who never stayed with you wrote a negative review about you, I think you should sue them, because that they can't do. You see, he's entitled to do it, but his sister can't, his father can't, his mother can't, his brother can't, because the only way that they would know about that is from him, and it was clearly designed to damage your reputation. And if they suggested in their review that they had been a resident of your place, then you have a perfectly good cause of action against them, not him, because he stayed there. To him, it wasn't ties on the internet. You're allowed to do that and write a review. Now, damage is another thing. Do you have photographs of the damage?
I have my star
No,
witness.
I want to see photographs.
Your Honor, we have photographs of the review.
I don't want to see photographs of the review. I want to see photographs of the damage that he is alleging. He's alleging damage. I've taken care of his defamation.
Here's one. Here's the bathroom. You can see it's totally black.
Okay.
Here's one of the sheets and towels that were destroyed and uncleanable. Here's more sheets and towels that were destroyed, and the toilet. And this, Your Honor, this is his actual feces that he left in the laundry room and all over towels, as well as he defecated in the alleyway. And I explained to him that the alleyway was only for service. He was not to use it because it exposed people's bathrooms and bedrooms, and his windows were the ones that were open, not anyone else's.
Mr. McIntyre, who saw him defecate in a public area?
My star witness, Your Honor.
I'd like to hear from that witness. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Susan Martinez.
Ms. Martinez, how do you know the defendant?
He actually stood there at the bed and breakfast in La Jolla.
You stay there?
I was staying there when we started getting complaints of him, yes.
Did you have a room on the first floor, second floor? Did you stay there?
I started staying there, yes.
Did you also do housekeeping for
I sure did, yes. We had a number of complaints, so I was told to stay, and I stood there.
No, listen. Yes. Listen to me. Don't tell me about complaints. Okay. That's hearsay.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He called his mom right away on speaker, told her what happened when he jumped the fence because he was intoxicated, and then she told him to sue them.
Mrs. Barnes, son ever drink? Does your son ever drink? Is my question. Does your son ever drink?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Maurice Barnes claims he was injured while staying as a guest at Edward McIntyre's bed and breakfast.
Could you tell me what, if anything, you observed about Mr. Barnes with regard to any of the photographs that I've seen?
There was different occasions of stuff. One of the maids called me that he was going in, I guess, with his dog.
You can't tell me what one of the maids told you.
So anyways...
Only what you saw.
Okay, well, I seen him coming out of the laundry room, and he had a towel, and before he walked up the stairs to his room, he had brown stuff all over his... I didn't see him...
Your Honor, what?
What else did you observe about
his behavior?
Mr. Barnes?
His behavior and his constantly being intoxicated. A number of times asking him to lower his music because we had guests that would leave. Your Honor, what I do want to say is the day that he fell, I was in the John Sousa room, and he called his mom right away on speaker, told her what happened when he jumped the fence because he was intoxicated, and then she told him to sue them. That I heard. In front of God Almighty, I heard that.
Did you see him jump the fence?
I did. I was in the John Sousa room. He was jumping.
Go ahead.
He would go to the park across the street with his dog every day, and that's where he was every day.
Just a second.
Yes.
What I'm asking you is, Miss Martinez, did you see him on the 25th of May injure himself?
He was jumping the wall gate is what he was doing.
And did you see him fall?
I did.
You saw him fall?
I did, and he called his mom right away.
You did not see me fall.
Okay. Ms. Martinez, why don't you have a seat?
Okay.
Mrs. Barnes, why don't you stand up for a moment, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're his mom?
Yes, I am. Very proud of him, too.
Does his son ever drink? Does your son ever drink? Is my
he
from him? How far
An
away do you
hour
live from him?
drive.
Who lives with you?
I live with my daughter and take care of my granddaughters.
When your son had a fire and he wasn't working anymore, was there no room for him in his sister's house?
No, not really.
What do you mean, not really? It's an emergency. It's COVID.
So
his house caught on fire.
I guess my daughter was concerned because of my granddaughters. She didn't want, because he does deliveries sometimes. She was afraid. She's a physician too, so she was afraid that he could bring COVID to the house with the granddaughters and the family.
Right. Why don't you have a seat?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Do you have estimates, sir, on the sheets and towels that he destroyed?
No, I got those from Target, $150 for 4 sets of sheets each.
Okay, well, I can't take that from you, sir. Okay, and you rented the room about 6 days later. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Barnes, the lawyer who you spoke to from the synagogue told you had no case, even though the defendant has insurance, which is a very easy thing. I'm speaking now. I'm speaking. You have no case. You got hurt because of your own negligence. I don't know whether you were drunk or not, and I don't care. If you were drunk, you were doubly negligent. If you weren't drunk, you walked into a window. It wasn't a window that he flung open. It was a place that you had walked 28 days before every single day. And according to you, the window was also open on some of those days. That was your path. If you walk into a wall, it's not the wall's fault. It's your fault. You walked into something. You had an accident. It's your fault. Your case is dismissed. I suggest you sue whoever it was, not him who defamed you. Do you understand?
Your Honor, he's the one who defamed me by calling me unethical, immoral, but he also put his sister and his father up to this.
Well, I don't know whether he did or not, sir, but right now I'm telling you, if you want to sue his sister and his brother, sue them. I'd be more than happy to hear the case. Do you understand?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Perfect. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
He called me a prostitute. His other daughter started calling me names.
I didn't call her no prostitute. I used other words.
I wouldn't smile if I were you.
Every single one of those allegations were, like, crazy.
I think he definitely defamed my character and definitely put a hurt on the end.
I don't like hospitals, but I went the next day because
he exposed himself to the maids. He was quite indecent. He never wore a face mask.
You know, ribs, man. I finally knew what rib injury was. That was a rib injury, so.
Because we needed the money to pay the mortgage. We were, pulling money out every month to pay the mortgage.
I don't know. I wish they would have given me something to clean the place with. I was there for a month. Nobody's cleaning the place.
I figured it was close to the end, and I talked to him, and he would say that he would behave, but he